Clock on a busy afternoon here as we try to get back to the upside here this afternoon for both the NASDAQ and the S&P after quite the sell-off to kick things off on a holiday shortened week. Couple things of note right now that is helping this rally or potential rally back to the upside. We had a huge move down, which was kind of curious this morning in the dollar along with equities. So this is the DXY on a 15-minute chart. So you got to go back to about 7 o'clock this morning. This downside move really accelerated. We are trying to bounce here on the dollar, but it's worth noting yields across the board also back lower here late in the day, helping equities bounce back to the upside. It's Tuesday, remember, so we'll get Frank Caberna's take on what to expect this week. There's not a lot in the way of key economic data, a little bit of economic data later in the week that could matter, but nothing significant on the inflation front. We are expecting a few more Fed speakers to come through later in the week as well, but we'll talk to Frank, see what he's looking at this week, see what we should be paying attention to. A few things moving around here. Microsoft, a little bit better than most of the big tech names, hugging 400 here throughout the entire day. That line is essentially $400 here for Microsoft, but the rest, yeah, not good. Google's positive, that's it. The rest of tech, Intel positive as well. It looks like the rest of tech downside in a big way. And yeah, it's the chip names finally giving up some space here, significant space back to the downside after it was quite the move higher over the past couple of weeks. Eli Lilly, another recent high flyer, back downside to the tune of 3.5%. There's Walmart. We'll touch on that coming up. They reported this morning, along with the one right beside them there. Home Depot also reported back to positive. It was negative to start things off early on this morning. Everything else green when it comes to consumer names this afternoon. Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, Coke, Monster Energy in there as well, nicely green on the day. Some of the payment names under pressure. MasterCard 3.5%, Visa 1.3%. Yeah, there's Tesla, pretty ugly, 4.5%. Some registration data over in Europe comes up a little bit light, to say the least. I'm just sitting here watching this, though. It is trying to bounce back above that 191. Once again, for Tesla, remember, we were at 180 going back to the beginning of last week. So it had quite the move back higher. That's the overall market. 425 coming into play again, but just kind of chopping around, going back and forth. We were discussing some retail earnings to kick things off if you were with us in the pre-market this morning. How's everyone liking the second screen, by the way? I hope it's working out well. Yes, there are some strange bugs that we're finding, so bear with us. We are working on that, and we'll get it resolved here as soon as we can. But hope everyone is enjoying that. You can, once again, see Neil's position, Sean's positions all day long now. It comes on 8 o'clock on the mainstream on this channel from 8 to 8:30. At 8:30, it'll flip over to the second channel, More Trader TV. Go subscribe to More Trader TV, and then you get that all day long. It'll be there until 4 o'clock every single day. So we love the suggestions as well. Leave a comment, guys, this afternoon. Tell us what would help. We're working on maybe some background music of some sort or something in the background, maybe the audio even from the main channel was mentioned today. Let's get going, though. A little bit of a review to kick things off. We were talking Nvidia this morning ahead of earnings. Some profit taking, to say the least, here today. 715 was holding as support this morning, but that let go, and it was downside ever since, guys.
Yeah, like obviously, if you were watching this morning, you know, like it's been a red day. There's been a little bit of a bounce in the market, but when the NASDAQ's down 1.3, you had SMCI already fail pretty big. Nvidia just never got off the schneid today. And we talked about this, could be like the first salvo going into those earnings, which aren't until, you know, obviously we're waiting for tomorrow after market, but if you got the first chink in the armor, I guess, that could have been today. And it was all over the chip space. Now, I didn't trade Nvidia because we were looking at Intel specifically because they had their own news as well, and we'll talk about that in a quick little second. But the resistance is real. And what happened on all of last week at this 745 level, 743 area, you just essentially took that range where there was support. It didn't even test it at the open. Quick little flush of $4. So $40 to the downside on Nvidia. Never really looked back, but it is worth mentioning. You're seeing it round off this bottom right now. It held 670. It's like 676 or so, and then back into VWAP. So there's a couple of things. Going into VWAP here, I kind of prefer, I'm in Intel off VWAP. I prefer AMD off the 165 at VWAP, but for the afternoon trade, it's lower highs in the futures. Nvidia is still putting in lower highs. If people are starting to take money out going into earnings, especially off that rejection on Friday, that theme to me would continue with the VWAP rejection. It's the afternoon, lunchtime and afternoon. I prefer to trade off of with the trend and then against VWAP if you can get that pullback. I do prefer AMD though over Nvidia off the 165 level. They're both down 5 points. Just pick which one you're more comfortable with. I just like VWAPs coinciding with 165 even. Just gives a little bit better of a level. But I'm already in Intel, and that's the same story as before.
All right, yeah, we're short AMD right here. We're in the money 30 cents. We're starting to take some out right now, immediately. So again, we just shorted it right now, boom, to the downside. You guys are coming back like at a crazy time because we got a bunch of madness on right now. We just shorted ARM up here as well. It's starting to go to the downside. We're just taking $1 right now. You guys missed a lot, but that's why it's good for our second stream. I'm actually out of 75% of this AMD. We talked about what we're doing in the afternoon show. It's playing technicals. So that's exactly what we did. It went down to the 50 period. We'll take that all day. So we'll wait to see if AMD can get back up near VWAP. But for right now, man, we've been calling the demise of Nvidia for a while. Let's see if it happens. I mean, you just got to wait for earnings. Today, you're taking a 6% haircut. Should be fine. If you've enjoyed this whole ride up, get ready for this kind of thing all the way back in. I'm looking for a 600 print on that one. And then SMCI as well. I was called insane on the recap show for this $700 call. Even Danielle Shea was like, huh? But it was 2 days. We went all the way back in. So let's wait to see where we go on that one. ARM is, it's Amazon. I have so much on board right now. I even have a firm still going to the downside right now off of a reload as well up there on a firm. So, I mean, there's a lot happening. 65 cents in the money on Apple. Let's just go over there. We'll talk about Intel, but there's a lot happening on this side.
All right, let's talk about Intel. A couple of things to note here this morning. There were some funding announcements announced over the weekend. One was for GFS, one was for INTC. Yeah, we start the day up nicely here in the pre-market. We give that back in a hurry here as soon as the market opened. In fact, basically right back to where it ended on Friday. This was what I was mentioning. The CHIPS Act, Intel in talks with the Biden administration on $10 billion. GFS, meanwhile, looking at $1.5 billion potentially when it comes to funding. So there was a little bit of positivity to kick things off in the semiconductor world this morning, guys.
Yeah, look, we said this is not bad news for Intel, despite the fact that I favored the short. There's technical reasons why I thought it was a short up at the 45 level, but $10 billion in subsidies. It's good to see that the money is actually coming in. GFS got money in the CHIPS Act already, so that's been doled out. They're talking about a $10 billion for Intel here, and of course, Intel having a stake in GFS. That's the reason they even tested the 45 level, because after earnings, which were bad, Intel did not have a good report. The guidance was not up to snuff, and this is what happened. It flushed from the $50 level, actually bottomed at like 43, but the next day, the top was this 45 level. So when it rejects that top, again last week twice, you can see it twice, it rejects 45 even. That's where we were trading this morning. Can it hold the 45 level? Answer no. Initial flush and pop and fade off the 45, then lower high shorts at 44 into Intel. Now 43.50 is the previous close. That's held some support. But it's really more about the technicals. Again, it was good news and they're up 1%. But if you look at the key price levels, where do we come up with these levels? After earnings, what's the support? What is the resistance when the stock sells itself down? It was as clear as day. 45 was your post-earnings resistance. Your support was more or less the $42 level. So that's what you're trading off of. So when it rejected the 45, short the 45 for Intel. Maybe it's going to break this one out at some point. Unfortunately for that, we get Nvidia tomorrow. So it's going to have to survive that gauntlet if it's going to continue to hold this range on Intel after earnings. Respect the levels the market tells you after earnings. They're going to give you where the big money wants to execute, where the big money wants to put their money in or take it out.
All right. Okay. So we're not going to reload AMD until we get a little bit closer here, but we are making a move back up to the upside. We still do have 25% of this trade right now on AMD. Look, I didn't write down Intel today, but that 45 level looked pretty good to me. We're still talking. ARM's going to be the #1 name here, but we are going to get stopped out if it breaks above 2150. Again, we just took a 2130 fill. That's 20 cents worth of risk. We took it out at O's, so that's 30 cents. And then we took it out at 75s when we bounced off of the 50 period. So just get ready for ARM to break. We still want to be in this name. This was the #1 name on the sticky note. I just hope to keep doing that, like putting #1 ideas on there and having them work out. And if they don't, we're able to switch gears pronto on those plays. But for right now, it's all good. We're just waiting for AMD to get back up to the upside. We've talked about this for a minute, so it's not really much else to say. We'll see if it breaks through 165 right now. That's VWAP, and that's going to be my out for AMD. So more shares to come here at 80s and then probably like 95, but we're just trying to layer up here into the close. So let's wait to see what happens. It's going to be a good one. Yeah, I mean, why, brothers? I can't let it get to 168. If it gets to 168, that'd be great. Right now, we are short Palantir. We're short a bunch of different things now. There goes ARM trying to break through 121 again. Hopefully this will work, man. And if we can get a 120 on that one, then so be it. But so far, so good. We're really starting to move around now. So it's going to be a good one. Let's see if we can break lower. The futures just need to pop just a little bit for us back in. So come on, AMD. Get up so we can get more short near 165.
All right, let's talk some EVs here. Randy's going to come by in about an hour or so and talk about his experience on the weekend. If you missed it, he was at the Toronto International Auto Show that was this weekend. Saw the RIVN, saw the Cybertruck, saw a whole bunch of stuff that he thought was really cool. So I was talking to him at lunchtime. He's going to come by. These started the day actually not bad. Tried to get positive right out of the gate here. This is RIVN. Immediately gets flushed back to the downside. I mean, we were talking about those European registrations month over month down more than 40%. That was more on the Tesla side of things than anything else. All of these charts look very similar. Tesla may be a little bit worse off across the board, but they all had these initial moves higher, and then it was just straight southbound guys out of the gate this morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna pivot to Oxy after talking about Rivian because that's the only way I'm gonna get to talk about Oxy. But Rivian, one of the things that we mention all the time is sort of switching gears. That can relate to time of day, but it can also relate to your expectancy in the market. Like if something starts going in the other direction, like make sure that you're not married to one idea. The key prices can be good, and I'll give you an example of where that mattered here, because Rivian was flushing like everything else. I was looking for a dip buy. Let me go to the 15-minute, and this will be a little bit easier. So I was looking for the dip buy back into where this thing broke out on Thursday. So it came in there, dipped a couple of times. You can see me, like multiple times we're in the long in a 15-minute span, bouncing 70s into 85, and then eventually it stopped out. But that turned into a shorting opportunity because it was trend down, looked for the bounce play, no follow through. It then rejected that level, so short to 1580. It got to 1560, did one reload after the fact that stopped out. And I don't wonder now, when you're putting in some higher lows, that my 1580 could start to come into play as a long trade. So you got to be able to flip it sometimes when it's trending down. If you like the support that doesn't hold, turn it into resistance. And just one note on Oxy, there was news of them. There was news in the middle of the day, huge volume spike.
Please.
That resulted in a triple bottom on Occidental. So one low here at 11 o'clock, then at 12, they're looking to make a sale. I'll get the exact headline for you. We put it in the midday chat, but it bounced off 59 quarters twice. And then the third time through, I threw this one in. And of course, the great thing about the new stream is you could see our positions on. So as I was saying, triple bottom on Oxy, that's when I was getting into this bit. So it got the quarters, took some out 30 in front of 30, actually got 38s in front of 40, and then some out in front of 59.50. If it bounces a fourth time, I'd look to reload that. But triple bottom is the reason I'm into Oxy. I don't know if the EVs are off the schneid just yet, but a decent start today because they managed to hold some of those lows. Tesla as well. Not Nikola so much. I never did get into that Nikola short, but man, did they give up that gain. What a mess.
I just saw someone in the chat say Sean Zafirma is just drip, 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 drip. Yeah. It feels like getting that morphine right now, just dripping to the downside. This is what it needs, man. It's on the mat right here. And I don't know if it's going to get up anytime soon. We shorted it once, we shorted it twice, but not Obi thrice. But we still had it. We should have reshorted it there. I don't know what we were doing. But here it is. Nice little move to the downside as we just getting low on a firm right now. And that was going to be hopefully a good little trade there. Just in case you guys are following along at home, we are getting out, and you can compare like my positions. The app, some of mine are wrong on the second stream, so Mark is trying to fix that. I guess just got all broken there. Probably got hacked. Probably some of the funds trying to figure out the fills. But we'll see if it drops it. Here it is, 120.90 right now, trying to come back in. So here comes ARM. Let's see how low we can get on this one. We don't have a bid now on ARM until 120. Flat or so. So far, so good on that one. We'll see. And then here we go again, man. We got 17 cents in the money on Palantir. We've been starting this short off. Let's get going. We're now breaking through VWAP. Oh, damn. We are at our highest spot all day right now as we're starting to get juicy right now. There goes ARM, 70 cents in the money. Get down. We have AMD, man. We just talked about a reload there on AMD. We wanted it to get closer. Get closer, we could get more shares, but it's a banger anyways, and we'll do that one. There it is. It's another one, and we'll just drop down some cash right now for AMD, guys. Hope you guys are watching all of this. Now, thank you so much, Randy. As we continue to get down to the downside right now, boom, there it goes for AMD. We down, doesn't matter. Coffee or not, Randy, he's gone now. But we just, wow, that was a good call there on AMD, guys. I'm glad we talked about that about 10 minutes ago. I mean, how much closer, honestly? I'm just mad. Like, I was waiting for more at 80, but we got a 70 fill there or something. I'll find out exactly what it is. But down goes the market, man. It's down for the count right now. AMD is 50 cents in the money. Apple's $1. Affirm is 50 cents in the money. Amazon's just $2.50. ARM is 70 cents in the money. Palantir is 16 cents in the money, and that's it. All shorts, and there's like 7 of them. So here we go. We're just going to sit back and relax, and then hopefully be able to get out of these near the lows of the day.
Yeah, day lows incoming here potentially for both the S&P and the NASDAQ. Oil, it's worth noting as well, about 10 minutes to go here on the day for oil, down 1.8%. Heavy selling right now for energy names to the downside. Neil was just talking about Oxy there. 0.8 for Intel rolling over. Let's talk about some retail action here this morning. We had both Walmart and Home Depot out before the start of trading. This chart's kind of hard to tell what's actually going on because if you zoom out, it was downside initially off earnings. The call, though, a little bit better than expected. They calmed some fears I was reading about the forecast, which was otherwise light for Home Depot. If you flip over to Walmart, the exact opposite. Positive right out of the gate off of earnings this morning. We've had a bit of a pullback, guys, but both very highly traded. I was noting almost top of the relative volume scale for Walmart and Home Depot today.
Yeah, well, that sort of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to be having on earnings, that's when you expect to see the relative volume come through. And we've mentioned this before. Earnings aren't always the first place you want to go to. There's a lot of day 2, 3 type plays today that I think, and we talk about the ranges as well, like post earnings ranges being good. I liked Walmart if it could have done a dip back into previous resistance levels. I said I'm not chasing this stock. I like the company. Everything about them, I think, can still work, and you do get some kind of a, let's just say you give a little bit of a moat if the economy were to slow down, because Walmart's a very diversified type of name in terms of all sectors for the consumer. So I do like them. I just felt like this was not the place to be chasing those highs at the 180, and if you could have got a 173, support to resistance and vice versa was the way to go. It never dipped far enough. I don't wonder if the play isn't looking at this 178 in the afternoon for a short. It's kind of clear as day here. There's your 178. Right at the open, it tried to bounce and failed to 178. So if you got back up there, that's where I would start to look for a trade. I like those levels that get put in earlier in the day to join the trend. So that resistance at 78 looks like the trade to me. Just one bit of housekeeping. I don't know why I had my number lock off, but I keystroked out of all of Intel. So I jumped back into some, essentially the shares I got out of, I jumped back in. So I was going to say, which was true, that I got back in 85, but I covered at 86 and did not want to be out of all of it. So the second I realized, no, didn't want to do that. I just jumped in. I will add to this at VWAP as if nothing happened, but I was looking to hold the next piece down to 43.6. So I'm thinking the same thing. I will reload off VWAP. Nothing has really changed there, but I did not want to get out of all of it. That's why you'll see me jump back in at the same price. Make a keystroke error, get out right away. If you get out accidentally, you can always just jump right back in as an active trader. So that's what I went ahead and did there on INTC. But the 78 on 78 on Walmart, I'd like to sell there. It doesn't mean we get there. Plenty of other names giving you the VWAP or chase right now.
All right, and what was another easy one here while we were there? AMD just went right to our levels again. So we'll short it again right up here at 165. And all of a sudden, we haven't even traded AMD until the last, let's call it 20 minutes, and it's already rocketing up the board there from profitability. So let's just keep doing what we're doing, guys. We have that 165. We're going to short it. I'm just scalping it. There he goes. Just got another out right there at 64. Just trying to scalp it out here, 15, 20 cents as we go. The market's trying to get higher, but if it wants to fail, we've got all the shorts. So let's just keep on figuring that part out. Palantir also went back up a little bit here. So we'll start to clean some more out as we bounced off VWAP again here on Palantir as these shorts are coming through. So right now, the whole afternoon, I guess, has been AMD so far, but you know, we've had some decent shorts, including ARM. Thing is on ARM, so we only got out some there at 121. It went all the way down to 120.50. So let's put another bid down there. I'm not sure we get there. The market seems like it wants to get a little spicy here, back up to the upside. So we'll put another bid a little bit lower. But if AMD cranks back down to where we just came from, then ooh-wee. To take a line there from my guy Obi. Oh boy, we're gonna get real spicy real quick for your boy over here. So let's just keep, there it is, yes. Oh boy, says Obi, and says me. There it is, nice little downside move for AMD. And here we go again, it is starting to move, and we just took some more out right there on AMD. It's only 30 cents, but like I said, we get excited when we see this kind of stuff. So let's see if we get to the downside as the scalper is here, and it's AMD. And there it is, oh yeah. What up to Brendan going solo over there right now. Nice call. We're going to the downside right now. It's ARM, it's AMD, it's Amazon, it's Affirm. Oh yeah, we've got them. Oh yeah, and by the way, Palantir starting to break lower as well. This is going to be, once again, although not a Friday, today is a good day. Wow, AMD.
Yeah, not much in the way of any kind of headline or news event at this point, but we'll keep an eye out. DraftKings, we'll wrap it up with that. 7.5% ugly for DKNG today. Went through 44 in a hurry this morning out of the gate, straight through to 41 essentially, trying to hold on to that. But I mean, it was all positive pre-market this morning. There was 8 analyst moves, all price target increases to the upside, some positive notes as well, but pretty ugly for DraftKings today, guys.
And Penn. It was DraftKings and
AMD.
Penn got absolutely slaughtered. But we're looking at a flat bottom potential break here on DraftKings. I know, I'm pretty sure, was it Obi or it might have been both Obi and Adara mentioning this on the midday. I know I heard it multiple times. So, you know, alert to the $41 breakdown here on DraftKings. Super strong Friday, as you can see, but rejected 45 a couple of times. If 41 goes, lights could be out on this one. It's down 7.5%. Sometimes you feel like a stock can't go any lower, but we like flat bottom breaks because that's a good setup. So that's all I can tell you for DraftKings. I think you can stick a fork in maybe looking to short any pops. The next thing coming in is going to be this 51 bottom break. And if you're watching Penn, it's more the same thing. I think DraftKings might be like 0.5% worse than Penn. Nasty, nasty day for DraftKings, but I'm looking at that flat bottom break just like a lot of people were in the middle of the day.
All right. I haven't looked at DraftKings. By the way, guys, I'm just trying to figure out some of these positions. So AMD here, we've just been getting it out. We'll wait for it. Palantir, I just took some out at 19. We've been calling DraftKings. Look, it's why we went over to Palantir. I mean, I'm on Palantir now. We've been talking about this. Like, I sold my DraftKings in here around, I think it was 36 though. I don't even think it was 38. I feel like it was in here. So I'll double check, but that would make sense to me. So in and around 36 bucks. I thought like we'd come up to here, we broke, we got all the way up to prob 39. That would make sense. And then I sold it into here. So that's when I thought, you know, some of these names were a little overextended. Then this happened. So there's the pullback. We've seen a pullback in other big, wow, this is getting to be good. We're seeing some pullbacks in other names right here. Get down, AMD. We just put this AMD trade on for everybody. We talked about it, but you know, we said a need to get back up there. I said I was waiting at 164.80. 164.80 came in, and you guys know that I have 20 cents worth of risk on this trade. So there it is. So far so good. As you start to bleed down to the downside right now with AMD, man, we are just like in honestly pretty much in chill mode right now. Like what kind of mood are we going to be in if ARM actually breaks lower? Like this is going to be quite the nice move. And here we go, man. AMD, we're right here right now. I mean, we're getting close to that dollar club on AMD as it pulls all the way back in. And like we just said, guys, we talked about this. We said, both Neil and I, let's short it off that VWAP. So there it is. How does 4 to 1, 5 to 1, all the way down here at 164. So nice move back in. And I said that our day would be an oh boy kind of a day. Well, right now it is like that, and there goes AMD just topping it off right now. And the thing about it is, please, like follow, because we tweeted this out, like not even, this is when AMD was right here, you know, as we were taking it on. We're gonna have Brian Shannon on today as well. So that should be monstrous on the recap show. We'll talk all about this. But there it is, man. VWAP once, VWAP twice, boom, right there into the downside. So, I mean, if you're looking for real trades, that's about as easy as you can make right there. All my trades today, very defined, very easy, ins and outs, and only shorts. I haven't gone long on anything yet today. Not a long, nothing today. And it's been a good one. So we're almost out of all the AMD. We have about 20% left, but thinking about taking another piece right here.
Well, DraftKings is the last one. I did just miss. I am long in Occidental. It did just bounce, but it didn't quite give me the fill. I wanted quarters. That's where we are long off that quarters, but it got to 30s. Could have extended it a little bit. That probably would have worked out for me, but I still want to see if we can't get this one more time. It's a triple bottom, but the one test in the middle was on a volume spike, which makes it almost even better. Because when you get these liquidity vacuums, those can be great levels to add back in. So I like this dip on Oxy. I know it's down, but it's showing you where the support is. Just a little frustrating not to catch that bit. I might pop it to the 30s just to tighten it up a little bit. I have my order in on DraftKings in case it gets that break. I'm only getting into it if it makes the break of the low. That's the key. Oh, there is another, in the chip space, there is something strong here. I want to alert is back into VWAP goes Intel, so I'm reloading at VWAP. But above VWAP is Micron. So this has been holding above VWAP for the greater part of the last hour, trying to break away from the 80 level. But if there's something going to go, and if we're going to get that 3 o'clock rally or a power hour type of rally, I'd rather be long something which is a great defined support level like Oxy, which doesn't care what tech does, or you're above VWAP and looking strong. And that's what I see with Micron. So it's up 0.7%, clearly stronger than the rest of the market. It's now baselining here in front of the 80 level. I might not get a shot at VWAP. Might have to look at this 80 for a long, but there's not much of a bid at the 80 level. I still prefer VWAP to trade off of. So if we see lows, Micron's the only chip name I think that's strong enough to look for a long. But I haven't looked at them all. This is just from what I have seen. This is the one I like for a long trade. I see that Nova, some small caps you guys are looking at. Just be careful with these. Like we always sort of say, like you want to make sure they're actually moving. And I have a scanner that'll show me like high day breaks and things that are trying to go. But just to give you an idea, to me this is not an exciting break. Look at the relative volume. So lower volume than Friday, which is lower volume than Thursday, which is lower volume than you get the idea. So be careful for breakouts. If it's going to break out the top, I need it to be doing more volume. So this is one that I wouldn't put on the radar. But I mean, if you're looking at some of those other names that are out there this morning, your Holos of the world, those are very much still in play. Holo retesting what is now a double bottom at 15. That could be very spicy if it breaks in either direction off that level. But I like Micron VWAP long, reloading some Intel here off of the 44 level as well. The relative strength and weakness, I know it's weird to think, why would you want to go long Micron, short Intel off VWAP? Well, I'm not long yet on Micron. It has to show me VWAP, and it's been a strong name, relatively speaking.
All right. So AMD bounced back up, but it was a good thing that we did take some out. Oh, what I wanted to show you guys was this, Citigroup. So I'm getting a little nervous about Citigroup, so I did punch out. It's like, obviously, it just keeps on kind of going up to the upside right here. So we do have a last fill there at 10s. We got some out there at O's. I mean, that's right at the 50 period. We like to do that. So that's, actually, that was 08s or 09s out at O's, so not only 7 or 8 cents. But then we just got a decent fill up here. And I was like, no, because I was going to only hold it to 55.20. So I just wanted to say I just took a quick hit there on about a half. So we're going to hold the rest just for a couple more pennies now. But that's Citigroup. So I just want to say that we are starting to get out of all of these shorts because they're possibly starting to make moves now back up to the upside. So I think those were good covers. And that was another one that we just covered right there. As we broke higher on AMD, we got another piece out there on the 50-period break higher at 30. So that's another 50 cents. There putting in the pocket. So that's just what we're doing. And then on Palantir, we're almost out of Palantir. So for that, not much happening. Did I just get filled again there somewhere? What just happened? Citigroup. Okay, so there it is. So that's fine. So Citigroup breaks above, I guess it just broke above 20 there. So we will take an out there on Citigroup. Again, we sort of, the banks, this move up, I know I'm short everything else, but it's like, nah, pass. I'm not going to mess with Citigroup. It just probably wants to go to the upside. Banks have been super, super strong. And by the way, we're going to take a little bit of advantage of this. I'm going to punch out some more here on ARM because why not? We are really playing this thing like a fiddle right here again. So we'll just wait for a little bit more of a downside push. All we're really doing is changing up our game plan here on ARM. And we're just using more shares, but less pennies. Like it's just bouncing off here. So I'm giving myself, like that last fill was 34s. So I just punched out there at 17s, just taking a little bit of profit here. If it breaks through 25, 50s, fine. Like we won't, it'll be a breeze, like dirt on our shoulder. So, but if it tanks, I really, really like the risk and reward here for ARM. So just in case you guys are looking for bigger trades, this one could be something back in now for ARM. We are very, very close now, as that's why, like I told you, AMD will be my fourth or fifth highest name today, even despite this moving all the way back. You're just back to VWAP right now, so I'm going to have to reassess because this is a little stronger than I thought here as the market continues to break higher.
We're at that 17.55 level, though.
Yeah, we're still good to go. Like our net is like chilling, but we do need to think about this. Breaking a little bit higher, I'll still try it, but a break of 165 and we can get out here on AMD. But we'll sit here, try to take a little bit more small, just not a lot.
I just got short 84. I was kind of waiting for that last 20 cents in front of 85. I'm already in Intel. I'm not in Micron yet for the long, but that has to come to view up. So I just got in for the first time on it. But I wanted to point this out in the futures. Fridays, it wasn't Friday's low, sorry. Last week's low is what I meant. Last week's bottom, the 17.55 level, then go back another week. It was a low again on the NASDAQ. Today we busted it. On the way back up, support turning into resistance. So you get to a level like this at this time of day, I'm looking for entries to shorts. You know, if the market's going to pull back, what I think can be a key level, like I said, I just got into, I was going to get rid of that wick. I didn't do it. I'll do that in a second. But I just got into AMD off VWAP for the first time. I got a bad wick in here to 174, which is kind of messing up skewing the chart a little bit. But I still like the short off VWAP as long as it can hold 65s. Got to watch out for Apple here. But the good news for Apple, notice how AMD's pushing VWAP and the market's pushing that level. Apple is sliding a little bit lower highs here. Cannot get to 181. Cannot get back to VWAP. Apple is relatively weak. It's been like this for a while. It bounced off 180. That's good if you're an Apple bull. But the negative side here is as the market presses up, Apple is not really participating the same way. So I don't know about the VWAP retracement. Might have to look for adding back into Apple shorts 75 to 80 instead of the 181 even.
All right. Yeah, guys, we are right now once again starting to go here on AMD. So like I said, man, I will try to hold this, but and I've told you, like, to a fault, you know, we chase P&Ls too much. So as it's falling back in right now, we're in the money 30 cents here on AMD. We're going to start to take some out. So, oh yeah, there it is again, man. This is going to be, honestly, guys, let's just spin the money for advanced micro devices right now. It's starting to really pile up. So this is going to be a good one here as AMD continues to spin itself all around. Good name here, great short up there. Let's go. Yes, sir. Wow, like we actually got into VWAP there. So imagine that. All right, so that was a good one. Hopefully that can still hold. It looks like ARM did blow up. So there it goes, man. I didn't even realize we're out of ARM. Paying attention there to AMD, but okay, so that's fine. So
Here we go.
I'll put a fail because I guess our last fill would have gone up. But like I said, we're at one of the highest
You know
spots
what's interesting?
we've been at right now for our net. What's interesting?
Well, I looked over and saw the ARM thing, and I noticed that was kind of trending up above VWAP, and I made the comment about Micron being relatively strong. So I want to make a correction on that because SMCI is above VWAP and putting in higher lows and lower highs too. So I don't wonder if there isn't not Micron, but ARM and SMCI, some of the squeeze names in the chip space, which I think those two are in the squeeze category, they're starting to drift back higher while you are getting rejections on some of the other like AMDs and of that ilk. But yeah, SMCI just tagged 750 and pull back a little bit here. So this is stair-stepping to the upside. I am not on the bid per se of Micron and VWAP. I'm not even sure we get it. I just like the fact that it held this right about 1 o'clock. You can see that higher low, then higher lows all the way through. I'm looking for the next higher low on Micron to try to join that party. But I was in AMD for the first time. They're off VWAP. As I said, I'll try to reload it if I can. Shout out to you. Thank you very much, Bill Franz, on the chat there. Do you guys have a give back rule after reaching your daily goal, like not giving back more than 20% or so? Thank you for the show. So one of the things at Real Trading is the risk parameter for traders. You get a daily loss limit. So let's say you have a daily loss limit of 1,000. It's based on your performance, your last 14 days. That's sort of a running total. There's actually something called an LFT loss limit as well, which it's your loss from your highest point in the day. So that if a trader had a $1,000 loss limit, their LFT would be $1,600. So if a trader was up 2,000, let's just say they wanted to make twice as much as their daily loss limit, you could in theory be up $400 and get stopped out and shut down for the day at Real Trading, because they will stop you out for that loss from top limit. I've never had I will stop trading if I hit a number, or adjust my trading if I hit a certain number. Any adjustments are based on time of day. Like I don't treat the middle of the day the same as I would the morning. I don't treat the afternoon the same as I would the middle of the day. There are situations where the afternoon might yield bigger opportunities. Think about it like a Fed day. But a lot of times I'd be using a fraction of risk in different times of the day anyways. So it's not about hitting a number for me. I've never at any point in 20 years really looked at things that way, but I have adjusted throughout the day, saying risk more in the first half an hour, or sometimes, depending on style of trade, maybe I'm risking more in the middle of the day. Very rarely would I be putting on biggest trades in the afternoon. Like I said, sometimes you might look at something like a Fed day event that might give you those opportunities, maybe like an Apple event or a Meta, something like that. But for the most part, I don't really look at it that way. I do think it's more like the time of day and switching gears. Oh, DraftKings broke.
Good. All right, so hopefully we can get some moves back in here for all the names that I have. I'm gonna watch out for Apple. I mean, I still think Apple can break 140, 180, and when it does that, obviously we've been short Apple all day. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just getting ready. We're gonna have Frank Caburn on. We're gonna have Randy on. We mentioned there on Friday that we'd get him on to come talk a little bit about the auto show. So honestly, I'm in all my bet is made right now. Apple short, Affirm short. AMD's been a monster. We've already talked about that. Amazon is going to be PNL 1, AMD PNL 2. Apple. They're all here. All right. What do you guys want me? Yeah, the Frank pump exactly. What do you guys want to talk about here? Frank's coming on. Better get out of those shorts. Nah, man, Frank. I'll hold on to these. All right, so what else, guys? SoFi, we talked about SoFi earlier coming through. So we had, the 50 period here on the daily is somewhat interesting. So we're going to have to really try to clear over this 860. And if we can hold over that, then fine. But SoFi, as compared to Robinhood, I mean, pretty disappointing there, looking at the two names. But SoFi is still trying to hold above that 750 looking strong down there because we're still making, sort of high. Well, I mean, that's not really a high or low. I was trying to say, like, these closes seem like we're starting to maybe make a trend back up to the upside and get some of the garbage out of here under 750. But for right now, SoFi still looks like that. So I'm going to pass on it. Let's just check out on Nike, another talk that we've had about above $100. Made the move up to 106, 107 past couple days. Now fading out again. Here comes Nike back into that $100 level. Oh, all right, Amazon's going. All right, AMD falling back in again. The other name was Alibaba. So this is a name that I recently bought at $72. You can find out what's going on. So it's right here. I got like 72.05 or something. It did make a nice move on earnings up to 80 and then fell back in. That was only pre-market. Now you're back to the 50 period here on Alibaba as well, trying to hold out for the 72.15 area for BABA. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really seeing too much. I mean, I know Microsoft is near that 400. I mean, you can play off of a key level right there for sure. Darn, man, that ARM is back down to 21 again, so it looks like we got stopped. Oh, ARM, that's another one. Because I'm out of it, I didn't see that net. This is going to be a top name here today as well. So, yeah, I mean, they're all here. They're all here. We'll go red on GM. I didn't even talk about that. And then we'll be red. We'll see about Palantir, but we're going to be red on Palantir. And that's it, man. We're going to go like 7-2 or something today, which isn't too bad. Tesla's near VWAP. Okay, I mean, we can look at that in a couple minutes. But for right now, we'll go over to Neil. Then we got Frank coming on at 2:45. I'll take a look at Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about 3 o'clock or 2:45 in the Frank pump. Maybe it's a time of day thing, but I feel like the last time, I wasn't here last Thursday, but I'll talk about Tuesday. I do feel like on that last Tuesday, there was a short to pop opportunity at that particular time. So that could be in. But DraftKings, it did just make that test. AMD is about to break 165, so that's going to come out for me. When you start breaking VWAP on these, I'm not holding past. I'm going to take the stop outs. But the 41 break happened on DraftKings. It got to 95, and it's still right here like 03s. So I'll give this to the previous low, which is 41.20, and then look to see if that'll make another leg into the downside. The good news is as the market's going up, it's still holding these bottoms, but that was more of a flat bottom break in here for DraftKings. The newest position, the only long I have has not typically cared what the market's been doing, but it's going up anyways right now. If I get to VWAP on Oxy, I think it's an out. If VWAP gets to, if Oxy gets into VWAP, it was already resistance pretty much off the jump. When it had that big volume spike, it came back in here, found support, and then immediate resistance once it failed under VWAP, and that's at 59.65. So if this gets up there, I'll take that one out and just be happy to have gotten that range. Should have got the reload, but I was sitting at 26. It stopped at 31. I'll try to reload it maybe off the 30 level to get in a little bit tighter on Oxy, but that's the only long I have on, and it's not really a tech name necessarily following the NASDAQ, sort of playing off of a volume spike and the level it provided after said volume spike. So we'll see what happens with DraftKings in there. Nvidia, by the way, which it was above VWAP, have a look at the opening range top. 695. So sometimes VWAP matters, other time, where is your resistance? Your resistance was up here at 695, and it's starting to push into that level. If that makes a nice little curl, I might jump back into like a short if something stops out above. I might just jump right back in because I like Nvidia to be a little bit of the futures for the chips. I feel like if it starts making a curl, and I like a stock at a level, like a VWAP on AMD, like on an Intel, which I might jump back into, I'll just wait for Nvidia to start going and then jump to the south side on those names. But it is 243. Want to get set up in for Frank. I'll reload Oxy if I can get it, but not really looking at any longs outside of the aforementioned Micron. But I wanted that on a dip. And Micron's taking out the high of the day as we speak. I'm not buying something breaking out a high today. I'm not really that bullish to make a breakout. I want to buy the dip on this thing.
All right, guys. So again, didn't want to interrupt there, but we got short more AMD, and then as it came back in, we got more out. So we're going to get out in a couple cents if it breaks higher, but we already out of half of this and 4 winners. So if this pulls back in, fine, but we are getting ready to get out on a break over 10 here for AMD. So watch out for that one. But we've already cleaned it out back down to the downside. So I just want to bring that to everybody's attention. After that, man, yeah, I mean, there ain't much else. I'm probably just going to wait. I'll wait this market out. The damage, as you guys know, has already sort of been done. We took a monster trade there off Amazon again. We talked about this off the sticky note. That's why I don't do a sticky note in the afternoon. If there's enough demand, I guess I could do it. But there it is, 168, 168. Like we're short 168 on Amazon, and there's a fill rate there at 166. So it's like we've already done this damage here. If Amazon breaks back above like 166.60, maybe while Frank is here, then we can get out of this. But I mean, we just have a small piece left. We're just kind of resting on some of the positions that we have right now. It's been a monster day. Let's just try to keep it that way and go over to the desk with Frank.
There he is, yeah. Frank Caberna joining us once again to talk on a holiday shortened week here, Frank. It's an interesting one, however, in the sense that it's one of those weeks where we don't really have a lot. I was alluding to this at 2 o'clock this afternoon when we came back on. We don't really have a lot to lead us in the way of important economic data. And one of those weeks where, you can get kind of wishy-washy moves where the market doesn't really feel like or know what it wants to do. A couple of things, I guess, to start. Is there something that we should be paying attention to? And if so, when is that and what should we be looking for this week?
Yeah, I mean, the big data point on this week is the FOMC minutes that are coming tomorrow afternoon. Not my favorite data release in a given month. Obviously, it's just greater details of the most recent FOMC meeting, and markets have really been moving more on actual data releases. Inflation obviously was the big one last week with the CPI reading coming in way hotter than expected. So not so much to watch for, but I love your point of this is a classic organic price action week. And what we've gotten to start the shortened week has been a little reversal for US rates and US dollar as well. And it has me wondering if interest rates have peaked here for the foreseeable future. Obviously, you had the huge trend lower, the 10-year that we're looking at here, lost 100 basis points at the end of 2023. And then there's been the bounce back to start this year that's been in line with, I talk about real data releases that markets have been moving off of, and that's been 2 non-farm numbers and 2 CPI inflation numbers that have both been either at or above expectations to start this year, as the trend has been US data outperforming and potential for fewer interest rate cuts. And now what we're seeing to start this week is a little bit of reversal on that interest rate story, a little bit of reversal on that US dollar story. But I think you make a great point. Is this a wishy-washy kind of move here to start the week? As we're seeing here to close today, dollar has actually fought back a little bit. US yields have fought back a little bit. And I'm wondering if by tomorrow, this FOMC minutes comes out, we'll probably see a knee-jerk reaction one way or the other, but it doesn't feel like there's going to be anything too meaningful. But yeah, eyeing this June meeting where the likelihood is back up to 80%. This was lower last week, especially after that CPI reading, as they priced out pretty much any chance of a cut in the March meeting. The May meeting is got down to 20-30% chance. June has been the one that they're eyeing now for this first cut, and coming off of this this weakness that we're seeing in U.S. yields and U.S. dollar to start this week, they've priced in now again an 80% chance of this cut occurring at least by June, with the outside chance being in that May meeting, or the likelihood, the greater likelihood in the market is that June will be that first cut. And yeah, I'll definitely be watching this week if those odds grow, if U.S. yields and U.S. dollar continue to move lower, or if this start to this week was kind of a weak reversal, so to speak, and they even start to price out the chances of May and June. Because yeah, to your point, no data so far this week, no real reason for them to start pricing in a greater likelihood of rate cuts coming in that May or June meeting. But that's what I'll be watching here this week ahead of next week will be a big one for data releases. The only thing so far this week, I don't know if you saw the China interest rate cut story. Some people trying to align that with just the global idea of rate cuts coming in general. But obviously the Chinese economy very different than the US's these days.
We got that super important Canadian CPI print today.
That's right.
As well. That was, Frank, it had a 2 handle on it. It was very exciting. It was 2.9% for the first time. So I think a lot of people in this country are, all jokes aside, happy to see things moving in the right direction. Prices, doesn't feel like they're coming down yet, but prices apparently are coming down yet. It's mostly energy based. I dug into it a little bit at lunch. Again, it's mostly energy coming off. Things like groceries, things like consumer goods, still very, very high, as we saw. Very similar in that last print going back to the U.S. side of things. Let's talk gold here. One of those instruments that can get some attention on those or during those time periods where we're kind of in between, moving back higher here.
Yeah, and this one has been in line with the trend to kick off this week, which is U.S. rates lower, U.S. dollar lower, and this gold market seeing a bounce back. And another one that has me wondering if this ends up being a bounce that was good to sell into, or if the trend does continue. I mean, they've tried to hit 2100, which has been the approximate historical high for gold futures going back since their creation more than 20 years ago. And they haven't been able to really break open that 2100 level, have really been stuck between 2 even and 2100 for the last couple of months. But at the end of last week, off of that higher than expected inflation number, everybody's pricing in higher interest rates in the US, the non-interest bearing gold asset was looking like it. I thought that it looked like it was going to try to trade under 2K, bouncing back to start this week. And like I say, really interested to see this week if this is one of those weak bounces and it gets sold into, and then the trend continues to be lower gold prices, higher U.S. rates, and X, Y, and Z, or if this does continue, and you would imagine that if gold continues to bounce back, that the market would coincidentally start to price in the chance of that rate cut coming as soon as the May meeting and not out into the June meeting. But all these markets have such a synergy to them right now that you would likely see those trends play out in tandem. But yeah, very surprised to see the strength here in gold to kick off this week, and think it might be on the back of some of that Chinese interest rate cut story, or to your point, yeah, the Canadian inflation coming in much lower than expected, and actually the U.S. dollar weakness we've seen this week only thwarted by the Canadian dollar weakness. But I'm sure y'all are taking the lower inflation over the currency depreciation on a week like this.
I mean, you got to take what you can get these days, I think. But it's, like I said, it's still a lot higher than a lot of people care to have it at this point, to put it nicely. You alluded to this going back to the beginning of the conversation, but there was an interesting move in the dollar initially, whether it was on that Bank of China news or whether it was on, take your pick headline this morning. The strength, though, kind of corresponded with that early move higher for individual stocks. We have since obviously come off significantly since then for the market. But what do we need to know here going forward? I mean, as you alluded to, the FOMC minutes lagging tremendously, probably the worst of the lagging indicators because we're only hearing what we already know. It's just more details, as you said.
Yeah, I think this is a week, and this obviously everything that I talk about here is built off of what we've been seeing recently, and any of this stuff can change on a dime. But the market that we've been seeing recently, Brendan, has been only seeing big moves, across every asset class, coinciding with big data releases that are either higher or lower than expected. And so you would imagine that on a week like this, where there are no big data releases, and to my earlier point, really only organic price action, you're likely to get a lot of reversals in both directions. I mean, I'm sure you guys have looked at the crypto market has been super back and forth here to start the week. You've looked at, the stock market looked like it wanted to rally going into the U.S. stock market. Open this morning, reverses since then, and now bouncing back a little bit late in the day. So again, that FOMC minutes, I hope it gives us a knee-jerk reaction one way or the other. But I don't see much sustained action coming from that FOMC minutes that come out tomorrow. To your point, really kind of, especially with how transparent the Fed has been over the course of the last decade, the last thing you would expect is that they have a meeting in January where they say X, Y, and Z, and then in the minutes, it's like, oh, actually, they're thinking all these different things. They've been very transparent, very calculated. And so this week might just be some of that back and forth with no sustained action one way or the other, as the US dollar has already fought back a good amount and gold isn't at its highs. But next week will likely be huge with that GDP number and that PCE inflation number to round out the month of February. As I mean, you look globally, Brendan, and GDP has been the growth rates that you're getting from Asia to Europe to here in North America have been so different that it'll be really interesting to see if the US is continuing to beat expectations and beat those global counterparts, or if they are starting to go in that direction. And then, of course, the inflation data. I mean, you talk about how Canadian inflation, even though some of the numbers that went into this morning's release were still high, relatively speaking. A two-handle print for Canadian inflation, and the Canadian economy has been obviously geographically, it's always been closely tied, but in terms of trade, has been really closely tied to the U.S. With the data release trends and the currency trends over the course of the last several months. And so that U.S. inflation coming at the end of next week will be huge. But until then, it's hard to see anything really swaying big macroeconomic asset classes like the U.S. dollar or interest rates or what have you. Unfortunately, it seems like it might be a lower volatility back and forth type of mindset here.
Yeah, and just to remind everyone, I mean, we touched on the simple fact that we get two sets of this inflation data in the U.S. before we hear from Fed Chair Powell again, and that's coming up March 12th. We'll get the next reading on CPI in the U.S., and then the 19th and the 20th. So a full week after that, still to go, a month out here, basically, for that March meeting where we will get those predictions as well. So lots to look forward to coming up. Frank Caberna, great to see you as always, Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Happy holiday shortened week, sir.
Thanks, Brennan.
All right, well, I'm long, so I need to keep going if possible. Right now, thanks, Frank.
It happened.
Nice to hear that Canadian number, of course, south of 3.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, we flipped over into a long here on Tesla. So the first long of the day, we're in it. It's going to be Tesla. It's just trying to break above VWAP. I thought it was going to go there. Looks like we've bounced off. So there's the VWAP break. We've averaged it back into here. If it breaks below the 50 period, we will say that we tried it, and that's that. So we'll wait here for 191.50 or so coming through on Tesla. But the first long is in, and let's just see if we continue to go up. We're still red, man. We're still red. I just thought the market had a chance to go there. It's came a long way. Not a long way, but it's come up about 130, 140 handles. Let's see what we do now near the top. So this is what we're waiting for. You know, obviously we need to take 17.6. That's been the top right here. So 17.6 right there, 17.6 again. And if you're waiting for something to happen, it would be a break of 17.6. And right now we're only at 17.570. So we'll have to wait on this Tesla trade. Everything else came out for me, including, let's see how far back Amazon came. So it came out a little bit there. I guess it must have been a level that we had talked about, breaking through there, those 50s. So that's an out right there. Palantir broke higher, but we were basically out of that. That's done nothing since. Affirm, we haven't got any reloads. We're still light on it. I don't think we had ARM broke, but that we already talked about when that broke. Yeah, so nothing else. And then AMD broke 165.10. So that was another out. But like I said, AMD was still a very, very positive name for me today. So, all right, that's that. Now we just wait on Tesla. It's the long that I will be in here as we enter into Power Hour and the market tries to go. We'll see. I like the name, Tesla. We'll see if it goes from here.
I actually got out, well, Frank was on, I got out of my one long. Oxy tried to get into VWAP. I said if it got to 59.60, that would be the target area. So once it got in there, I kind of moved a stop up to 59.5 to lock in that profit. But now you're starting to head back down in. So I am going to look for the reload on this name, down around 59.25. Thanks, Fabian. Apple, by the way, Apple also got into VWAP. So I did a little bit of a scalp trade on Apple and then a reload in front of 181. Previously was short off of this 181.30. That was because at 9:45 you made a top here at 181.30. So I was shorting that in the middle of the day. But this is off of the 181 and VWAP. I want to get that Oxy reload. Micron hasn't even dipped to get the long yet. I think it's like a matter of time before that even happens. It's holding the top, and I want to get a dip into the previous high, which is 80.30. I can cancel the other dip buys in there. Just have to worry about this 80.30 to start to come in. It's strong. It took out the top up 1% and change. I do like this one for the long trade. But as I said, I got out of my one long and I'm looking for re-entry because Oxy doesn't care what the market's doing. It's dipping as the market's ripping. I'm just buying it off of what is now a triple bottom at 59.25. Oxy down 2%. It's not like it's a relatively strong name. It just happens to be a support level that got put in, and I want to reload off of that. Palantir apparently moving. That's not a name I haven't paid too much to Palantir. I know you've been all over Palantir, Sean. This is just another stair step to the upside. But when I see this, like my first inclination is, well, if it fell apart rejecting 2350 immediate support, then rejected it right here for the flush into the low, look where it just went, 2350 again. Like that looks like a short at 2350 to me, based on the range and based on the level. And when you zoom it out on Palantir just a little bit further, and you go to a 15-minute, it looks even better for a 2350 short because that was previous support earlier in the day. I'm kind of talking myself into this one. I haven't traded at all today. But if I see a key level from the morning, set it up for a good risk to reward, I typically want to take that trade. So I just saw it wick to 50s. I'm going to go short off the 2350 on Palantir for the reasons stated.
Yeah, I like that Palantir short. We've been playing with that short a little bit right now. So we're still in Tesla. We know where we're going to break there on Tesla. If it breaks lower, then we'll get out of that one.
I had a Palantir question for you that I was going to ask that I totally forgot. I think I know the answer to this, but have you done anything since earnings in your personal account?
No.
Sold, bought?
No.
Nothing? Okay. I was just kind of, I know sometimes you wait for that like.
Yeah, no, I'm going to wait forever. Okay. I'm doing the Brendan style now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, never selling anything. Except for crappy companies, and I think Palantir has a good opportunity, which is why I sold DraftKings and things like that. Once you get a nice little bump
you think
up.
it's a crap? Well, okay.
DraftKings, yeah, I think it's way overvalued. I mean, I've said
crappy, I think I reserve for, like, I would have reserved crappy for things like Nikola as opposed to DraftKings.
No, I just mean crappy valuations.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, like Nvidia. Okay, so here we go. We still are in Tesla. It's interesting because we have Randy coming up soon. So Randy will be talking all about his experiences at the car show. So I have a couple insights there. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. A little disappointed in some of the car companies that were not there. So we'll hear from Randy in just a couple seconds coming through right now. Bitcoin's been pretty interesting, 52. Let's go look at IBIT right now just for a second. It seems like it's trying to battle back nicely right now. So yeah, Bitcoin had a nice move to the downside and now trying to battle back upside right now, looking at 52,000. So right now, here's the Bitcoin chart. Okay, there it is. So this is, let's just go to a 15-minute chart real quick just to find out exactly what is happening. And we'll zoom back out as I was way too far in. So again, a nice basement there of 51 and the top of 53. So it's been kind of traveling. Excuse me, you did hear Frank talk a little bit about Bitcoin today and how that was moving around. So yeah, I feel like you want to wait. 52.5 there could be a nice little level for Bitcoin. So maybe if we see that change down there, then we'll understand it. I'm using Binance. It seems to be not bogging down my computer as much, which is pretty good for that one. Snapchat just showing up on a scanner, but $11 now. We've been looking at that 11.50. I think it's maybe just showed up because we're approaching VWAP here, but not much happening there for Snapchat for me right now. A name that's been going nicely to the upside has been Disney, of course, but this has pulled back from that 112 area. Like I just turned it there right now when we have this wick. Maybe I could find, hold on a second. Wait,
You got to get that dip at 96. That's the key.
No, I was trying to find it on here so I could report whatever the.
Watch out, Apple just came out,
Whatever the wick
181
is.
breaking on Apple. So I just took a reload in the 90s off that one. But now you're
Tesla.
holding VWAP, you're breaking out above, do not want to be fighting this. We looked for the short off the 181. It worked on the first salvo. This was while Frank was on for the scalp trade, and then it just broke out on a reload in front of 181. I just missed. Look, Micron doesn't even, it just dipped 10 cents, maybe 15 cents if we're being generous. And I'm thinking about 10.30 here on Micron. I might just have to try to grab this in the 50 range because I want to be long this name. It's so super strong, relatively speaking. Oh, the other thing I was mentioning is that BTC, man. There's a wick bottom. I'm gonna get a bid. I'm gonna get a taste on Micron here.
Nice.
But the way that BTC bottomed today, because you know we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And we can only go long if we trade BTC here, testing out at real trading.
Right.
But what stood out to me is maybe I'll do this for volume, so you can have a look. Look at when this makes a hard bottom twice. Like first, you get a big candle wick, the biggest volume candle of the day. Then comes in like right here, like right in the middle of the day. On a wick bottom, you get the biggest volume candle. Then in lunchtime, it's just like you're simmering, make another fresh little big hammer red candle. And then the next candle up is a huge volume spike, the biggest one in the last hour. And then what happens? Look at it ramp to the upside. So that setup where you get a big red candle breaking the lows, and then a big volume candle, the biggest in the last hour, I might just go long the next time I see that because I feel like I saw this last week, and then didn't make any trades off of this. But that stands out like a sore thing, man. Come on. Like you're going to make it that obvious. You make a big wipeout bottom candle and then big volume on the next. This is a 3-minute chart, by the way. The higher lows are all good, and this retraces all the way to view up. That was at about 50.90. And it got all the way to 52, as you guys can see here. So that's something I just observed here on BTC. I'm going to start looking for that. And you can trade that on the ETFs. I know we can trade spot Bitcoin now here at Real Trading, but the ETFs are just as good. Whether it's it's IRBT or maybe like ARC-B, that's also decent as well. You can GBTC as well. There's lots of opportunities out there. We're testing BTC for Real Trading, so I'll be executing on this for the short term.
All right, so Tesla's now in the money. We'll take another piece out. Yeah, there it is. We'll get another piece out at 50 as we're starting to blow up now for Tesla. So here it goes again for us. Let's see where we go. We just talked about this. We bought some down here. When it goes up, it's never enough. When it goes down, you bought way too much and you're wondering what you're doing. So right now, 40 cents in the money. I'm going to take another piece out here on that as it's starting to go back up to the upside. Right now goes Tesla. So let's go, man. Scream, Tesla, scream. Nice move. Here we go. 40 cents in the money brought to you by @TraderTV Sean. Go make sure you go find me here. We'll see if we can have diamond hands on the rest of these as we're starting to scream back up to the north side here on Tesla. We talked about that. We wanted to ride with this trade. So here it goes right now. Nice little dip buys. We are out of some. We're going to see how far now. My next offer is 193 and then 193.50. We're always going to take something out at 193. I mean, we're in the money 50 cents. right now. Like that's, for me, that's pretty good. So let's just see where we go for now. Yeah, do not throw away dollars right now. Try to be a little bit conservative in what you are trying to do with your trading. I mean, I'm not necessarily being too conservative, but we are taking out 40, 50 cents here as it continues to go upside. I still think there's a way bigger move coming for Tesla. Oh, sorry, that's a firm. Oh, yeah, what I was looking at for a firm, sorry, here's Tesla in case you guys are looking. There it goes. So what I was going to talk about with a firm was we're only flat now on the trade, but we only have one piece left. So we don't have anything left. So we're, thinking about reloading this in and around $38 for a firm. But you know what? I'm just going to cancel everything. I'm not going to reload a firm. It doesn't really matter too much. But right now, Tesla is really starting to go. There goes Tesla again. So we'll spin it right now as we're back in the money. Now 50 more cents. Probably trying to, well, I just told you, I'm waiting at one. You know what? I'm waiting at flats. There's no point. I've missed trades waiting at flats before. So let's just go here, somewhere in the 80s. If you said 84, then you're right. We're waiting at 84 right now. Take a piece out. I'll sacrifice 16 cents here. Just to get a fill because it'll drive me nuts if it goes all the way up here and we miss it. But there it is right there. We'll hit this again. So back in again today, man. Apple positive, Affirm positive, AMD positive, Amazon positive, ARM positive, Citigroup not positive, GM not positive, Palantir no, Tesla hell yeah. You can see where Tesla's going. So that's my day in a nutshell. You guys can ask us in the chat, of course, if we're up or down or anything like that on these names. So there it goes. It's Tesla. It's time to sit back and relax, man. We're going to have Randy up real soon. And there goes Tesla. It's your banger right there, hopefully for the afternoon. But we'll see. Maybe we get higher. I mean, we still got 40 minutes.
The market is right at the opening range. The 17.6 is pretty much right there. Micron just broke the high of the day. It's now up 1.5%.
Yeah.
This was the first name I mentioned for a long opportunity because of the strength, because of its strength. But realistically, all the chips are flying. So we bought the dip down into 850. Actually got 49s there. It just broke high of the day. I'm shooting for 81s, but it doesn't matter whether you're. I mean, look at SMCI bouncing off you up. It's kind of turning here at 790. Maybe it'll get to 800. I have no idea. But SMCI just made a big move up. You're seeing Nvidia, which is now at that 695 zone. So you're getting a nice little bounce. Want to make sure you're taking some profits, but the relative strength was already there for a couple of these chip names. I'll look to reload this on Micron, but instead of just sort of waiting around, trying to add to it on the way up, I'll let it come down and then see a bounce and then go for that long on a reload, not just necessarily sitting at the same level. If it bounces at 40, if I see a curl there, I'd rather get 40s. If it bounces off the previous high, that's 33. I'd take it at 35. Just different places where I'd like to see it curl back in. I'm not going to just sit on the bid because 850 happens to be a round number. Palantir is kind of holding that 23.50 level. I'm in at 41s. It worked down about 4 cents in the money, but that was only 4 cents in the money. I'm looking into VWAP. If it breaks 50, I'm out. That's kind of a one and done trade. I like the 23.50 level, but this market's starting to get strong. If 17.6 goes, got to get the you-know-what out of Dodge. And by the way, when I was mentioning, there was some questions about the ETFs. I listed a few of them. There's like 11 ETFs for Bitcoin. I just listed the first ones that came to my mind, and when I was asked about it, I put a couple of them in the chat that do the most volume. My only suggestion would be if you're trading them, just trade the ones with the best volume. That's why I mentioned IBIT. That's why I mentioned GBTC. ARKB, I think, is probably like fourth or something like that. But yeah, all you really care about is liquidity when you're trading them. They're all tracking the same thing, and most of them, all the ones that do volume, like I know IBIT tracks really well. I know ARKB tracks really well because I've watched it. BitB tracks really well. But there's like 11 of them. I just think you want to chase the volume because that's what a trader cares about. If you have a huge spread on it, you don't want to be trading that if you don't have to.
All right. Yeah, you guys will stay late tonight. Traders will stay late with me, and we'll talk about everything in the market recap show. So I track IBIT, and that's the one with the largest volume. So we'll wait for that to come through here this afternoon. But so Tesla's bouncing off 193 right now, possibly an area of concern, but I'm not concerned. So we'll wait to see where it goes. We still got hopefully some nice potential moves here back up. I'm just loading up the Benzinga Newswire, I just realized it wasn't loaded up, and this is what I look at here as different stories come through. Like here's a
Fubo.
Yeah, that's the most recent one. That's nothing. That's just they're mad about Disney and the streaming deal with Paramount and Warner Brothers and all of that. Yeah, no, all good, man. We'll still be here. I'm just setting my layout up again. Okay, all right. So there goes Tesla. I'm only in one trade. Well, all right. I'm in this Apple trade, but not any kind of shares. So we're just gonna wait for Tesla. Let's see how far this name goes. It's 3:15 right now. We're getting ready to go.
SoFi broke the highs.
Yeah, I don't mind SoFi, so we can definitely have a look at that. Google, Beyond Meat. What's Beyond Meat doing? I mean, this could be again. It's gonna be a trophy kind of day, but like if Tesla goes, then it's gonna really be one of those days. All right, you know what I was thinking now that I think about this, because I don't want this day to fall by the wayside, which it won't, but. Just thinking, where's going to be our new out for Tesla? Because we were using the 50-period moving average. It looks like now 192. So there it is, man. This trade can no longer be a loser. So we're really, literally, Sean, again, homage to my kids there, shout out to them. But literally are playing with house money now. So there it is, man. Huge move to the upside. We still got half of this Tesla trade. New stop order just under 192. It's now almost $1 in the money. We'll take another piece out if it gets a little bit above 193. We just keep bouncing off here. Maybe we'll just take another piece and then just not worry about it. And I'll cancel that one a little bit higher than that. So see if we get going here on Tesla. We'll watch out for this bottom of 192. We'll just get out if that breaks, okay? So that's now the newest directional target for me, breaking through 192, and we will be out of that one and celebrate, hopefully, with a win higher on Tesla. But hey, you know, we're playing with that house right now. We mentioned RIVN down there at 1580s or so. It's still kind of there now. That bottom was 1550. That should be exciting for when they report, which I believe is not tonight. It is tomorrow, right?
The big one today is Palo Alto.
Yeah, we have Pan W, and then we have...
Something.
Oh, no, there's one. There's Toll Brothers. So this is tonight, Feb 21. So tomorrow post is going to be for Rivian with a 15% short flow. This is very, very dangerous name for sure to be looking at pre-earnings, but might be worth the shot. All right, so Tesla just came back up again. Like here I am in the 90s. Honestly, guys, let's just take a fill. There it is. We'll take an 85 fill. We'll go face slap on this one. Now we can just sit back and relax. Honestly, I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We've got some water here, trying to stay a little bit hydrated, and we'll just watch out for Tesla because we're already in it right now. So there's not much you can do. I feel like we're Matt McClung here in the NBA All-Star game or slam dunk where there's really no competition. Like honestly, this
I got words for the All-Star weekend, man.
Yeah, the NBA's been a joke. That All-Star weekend's been a joke for many, many years. But whatever.
Okay, before we go to Randy, my biggest beef is if you watch the skills competition, the dunk off, it is what it is. I can go off on the dunk off, but that skills thing that they do, like nobody was even trying or caring. And I sometimes feel like when you do things like shoot with your left hand or like dribble lackadaisically, it's like if you don't win, well, if you can just be like, I wasn't trying anyways, right. There's no pride being hurt. So the guys don't care. And the fact they're doing lackadaisicals, that way if they lose, then there's no hit to the ego because it's like I wasn't trying anyways. Back in the day, those guys would actually, I remember like Michael Jordan and Neek, they would go at it in a dunk-off. They did not want to lose. They care. Even Kobe, like those guys, they care.
Half of the dunk-off was non-NBA players.
Oh, don't get me.
How does that even make any sense?
Don't get me started. Why can't we see Anthony Edwards? But
too much money. They make too much money. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Like I said, it is what it is.
Good for them.
But let's get to the desk because Randy's got some thoughts on some auto names from the auto show.
This 30 minutes, we'll get to Randy in a sec. This 30 minutes brought to you by our friends over at Simpler Trading. Take advantage of this exclusive offer for Trader TV viewers. Today, you can get a 60-day membership for just $1 to Simpler Central. Follow the latest strategies from multiple asset classes in real time. Yeah, we'll get a recap here from Randy's here. It was, what is it called now? The Canadian International Auto Show?
Yes.
I think I said Toronto International Auto Show. That doesn't make sense. On the weekend, and it's 2 weeks long here in Toronto.
Yes.
I don't want to give them a whole bunch of promotion because Hey, they didn't pay for it, so let's talk
No.
about some individual cars here that stood out to you. Give us your take.
I want to start with all the ones who didn't show up.
Yeah, that's surprising.
There was no Volkswagen, no Audi, no Porsche, no Mercedes-Benz, no Honda, no Acura. A lot of the bigger names that you would expect, I mean, Hondas are made here, they weren't there.
Decided to pass.
And we chatted about this just briefly, but there's just some reason they didn't show up, cost analysis, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Why do we go to auto shows anyway?
Are we to a stage where that form of marketing display is now an old, out of date way of marketing?
I think it falls on both sides of the fence where we've got the older generation, myself included, who want to touch and feel things and smell the new car smell and feel the ergonomics and
Right.
the leg room and all, or the other generation who can sit online on their MacBook and shop from home and have it delivered to their door.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, they can send it
Send it
back,
back.
and we'll go look at something else. And I guess it appeals to both sides.
Yeah.
To some extent. But people like, especially because of COVID, people like to sit at home and shop online.
Yeah.
It is
To
what it
that
is.
point, I remember a day where it's always in the Metro Toronto Convention Center.
Yes.
Metro Toronto Convention Center is 6 floors, if it wants to be, something like that. There was a year or 2 years where it was every single floor was full in the convention center, and then they had to use the Rogers Center, Sky Dome at that point.
I remember that.
The floor of the stadium.
It was that
because
packed.
there was that much more and that much demand for displays.
Not so much today.
Yeah, let's talk about a few cars here. You brought a couple that stood out. to
Well,
you.
I mean, the star of the show was the Cybertruck. And I mean,
other monitor there.
oh,
Enjoy.
hang on, let me swing that over here. There we go.
There you go.
I think the star of the show was the Cybertruck. Tesla had a massive display, not a lot of vehicles in that display. The lineup to see it was expected, I think. It's huge. I went with a good friend of mine, and he walked up to this thing, and of course you can't get that close to it, but he sort of had a bit of a visual, and he said it's very Terminator-ish.
Yeah.
And it's very shiny and very obligatory huge. It's really tall. It's very polarizing. It caught a lot of attention. I mean, every other Tesla on the display was some color, but not this thing. So it grabbed the most attention, the most crowd, I think. And I had a good look at it. Good to see one in person. You've seen one on the street. I haven't.
Yeah.
But I think it was the star of the show. Again, the most crowds. But there was lots of other things to see. Nothing much new from Tesla. There was no Roadster. There was no pre-production Model 2. I talked to some of the reps that were in that portion of the hall. They didn't have a whole lot to say. It was just kind of welcome,
There's a Model 3.
Yeah, I mean, let the cars speak for themselves,
Right.
But there were some other interesting things there aside from Tesla and, of course, the manufacturers that did show up. And again, you guys talked about it this morning, and this was the VinFast, the Wild. I'd never quite seen a vehicle like this. And to see a concept, yes, this is a concept, it's not a production model, to come from such a young company, the design cues, the styling of it, the utility of it. You can see here it's got this wide open, and yes, Chevy did this with the Avalanche about 10 years ago or more, but I think it's a great expression of their ability, of what they're capable of.
Yeah. There's I was trying to think. There's a Subaru, I think it is right now, or maybe it's a.
The old Brat or the.
No, there's a new version.
I think you're right. Yeah, I can't recall the name.
I can't remember, but it looks very similar.
Very interesting design, cost effective, just $41,000. They said ish base, existing drivetrain shared with other models. There was a lot of people milling about the VinFast booth. They were there last year.
Yeah.
But they were kind of a new name, and we discussed VinFast on the show a lot. But I think this year they've got a little more attention, and they had 3 or 4 more models. A lot of interesting styling and choices. A lot of people milling about. I think price is still a big factor.
Issue.
You've talked about sales down in Europe, with maybe the market saturated to the point where people moving from ICE cars to upper price target EVs have made their purchases, have made their leases, and now they're content. But there's still a whole other realm of consumers have went, well, inflation's still a big thing. Maybe it's lower in Canada, but maybe it's still higher in other countries, and they're not ready to move yet. So I think as we see manufacturers move into a lower price target with cheaper models, you might get a little more or a little less antipathy, I think, is the word I've been using to look at. Maybe, you know, I can find a $40,000 vehicle that fits my budget. I might consider it.
Yeah.
I was just asking random people. I said, would you buy that? And he goes, no. So, you know, a lot of reservation. Again, antipathy towards the EV itself, inflation, price, the whole works, all rolled into one.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked in depth in the sense that, you know, interest rates, I think, in most dealerships in this country right now, 9%
to lease a
on a
vehicle.
lease?
That's tough to swallow for, you know, for the average household. And it varies from country to country, district to district. But if they can bring, you know, a model to market, inflation aside, you know, where you're able to purchase or finance this vehicle for less than 9%, and the vehicle's outright price is maybe less than $45,000, you might have another segment of the market be attracted.
Yep.
I don't see it right away, but they're coming. There's cheaper models coming. We talked about, you know, the Model 2 coming and future VinFast and other models that are going to be cheaper, the R2.
But it seems like, and yeah, let's talk about Rivian here, because I was just double checking. We're like 2 weeks and 2 days out from the preview of the next generation of that. That's the big one. Obviously, we're going to get the R2 platform, or a preview of the R2 platform, March 7th.
Right.
And that is the one that they promised is going to be smaller, less luxury, less tech, more affordable.
I think it's a great
appeal.
Yes, it's a great move. They have to do it because you've got your $100,000 pickup and your $100,000 7-seater SUV. Sales have not quite stagnated. They've had production problems. There's still like a bit of a backlog on orders. But if they can get the R2 at the door and solve their production woes and position it as a more affordable, more cost-effective, less luxury, less toys model and sell lots of them, then, you know, we should see that stock recover nicely.
You were saying that one was pretty impressive.
I was impressed with the build quality, with the ergonomics. And this is why I go. You can shop for these online. You can buy these online. Rivian will deliver it same day if you live in California. Great. To sit in it, though, to touch the fabrics, to, you know, play with the switches, the ergonomics, how it feels, you know, on your butt, you're sitting in the seat, the flat floor. I was very impressed with the overall layout of the truck. A lot of functionality, a lot of utility, a lot of thoughtful things that, you know, I spent probably a good 5-6 minutes sitting in there before somebody else wanted in. They did put a lot of thought into the platform. And I've read a lot of the details about it, but when you actually sit there and sort of immerse yourself in it, you get that bigger picture. And I think this is why some of us still go to the show. You get that a little bit of additional information, and it's a beautiful truck, inside and out. There's lots to do, again, with smaller platforms. If they can do that, not as much luxury, but have the same thought and the utility and the comfort and convenience, I think they'll have a winner.
My father would always tell me when I was younger and first started shopping for cars, you can tell a lot about a vehicle by just opening and closing the door.
Yes, you can. Yes,
whether
you can.
Everything rattles and shakes and feels like it's going to fall off, or
can't do that online.
It's very, very solid. Anything that surprised you that seemed out of place or
not as many new models as I was expecting. There's, you know, pre-production models. Some auto manufacturers are a little bit sort of secretive with some of the. I mean, the Cybertruck's no secret. It hasn't been for what, 2 years now.
Yep.
Elon. Things that I was maybe expecting to see that weren't there. And then a lot of, again, manufacturers not showing up at all, despite the fact they have new models to purvey. So some disappointments, nothing really surprising.
Fisker?
No Fisker.
No Fisker.
No Fisker. Again,
I mean, they're struggling. It makes sense.
Right. So from a cost perspective, and Toronto's not maybe the biggest auto show out there. New York, LA, you know, Detroit. But we'll see. There's more coming next year. I'm hoping to see more vendors, but I'm not in charge of that. But I think it's coming. I think there's a bit of traction there. A whole ton of new models coming in the next 12 months. So maybe
we'll see what happens.
Maybe a bit of a bonus.
We'll have to call ahead next year and get you a media pass so you can go on the Thursday, the media day, where there's no one else there.
Hey, there we go.
You can roam.
That would be fun.
Thank you, Randy.
Shout out to Randy there. Appreciate it. Get a little fundamentals. We'll talk about where the stocks are going all the time, give you those technicals. But if you want to get a fundamental look, always good to bring someone who knows what they're talking about and get some good visuals. By the way, just because you happen to say Fisker down 12.5% at low of the day. Right now, 64 cents. You can't even make that up. I haven't heard Fisker all day. I didn't hear Fisker once last week, but it is Huadunk City on this one, unfortunately, for any shareholders of Fisker. Not wallowing on it, it's just weird. Like, I hadn't heard Fisker all day. I'm like, oh, I wonder where that is after I heard Randy bring it up. 12% down and testing the lows. I just got out of Micron. It's been holding 80.70 the entirety of that segment. It's been going back and forth, bouncing. I'm going to look for the reload, but it was an 80.50 into 80.70. You can see that range. That is now 30 minutes that it's been in that range. So I'm going to take it and then buy the dip if I can get it again. There's still some time. We're going to get the early look on the imbalances in about 30 seconds. Still some time maybe for one more salvo at it. It was a good long. Should have taken it early, but I was being patient because I wasn't bullish enough. It's that simple. I wasn't bullish enough to try to get this one away from VWAP until it was breaking the highs and giving an entry off those highs. Palantir off the 2050 short. I've gotten one fill down in the mid 30s, looking for another. I'm just sitting here at 34, and it can't seem to break the 35 a second time. That's a bad dark pool wick. It is not printed 30s because I'm on the bid at 34. So I'll look for a reload in front of 50, but we're running out of time to get the reloads. I'm on the offer trying to grab some 47s, 48s on Palantir. So one short, one long. They are both, well, I'm out of Micron now. It did work. Right now, Palantir is in the money, but it is 3:30. So we are getting into that time of day where you start thinking about getting the profit out, tightening up your stops, preparing for the market recap show, and Palo Alto obviously is the big one, but you were right. Toll Brothers is before the market. There's something else before market that's okay, but it's Pan W. That's the big name out there. I saw someone in the chat.
I don't think we have. Do we have an earnings board?
I don't know if we have the board. I was just looking at the Market Chameleon website to show Palo Alto 9% expected move today.
We have the board.
We do have it?
All right.
Okay.
All right. Ramin's going to bring it up. Okay. So, yeah, because Toll Brothers is tonight. So,
I thought.
Yeah, so we'll see. But right there, man, we should have got out there. So, yeah, thank you for all the nice talks in the chat. Whether or not we have diamond hands or not, I appreciate that, but I will see where we go here with Tesla. Now making a move back in. So 192.50 is now where we are. We're going to get out a half if it breaks back down below that. I mean, we've really panned this trade for you guys on Tesla, and it's really, you know, so now that it's worked out like this, we're just going to try to follow our rules. So 192.48, we'll get out of half of what we have left if it breaks to the downside here on Tesla. So we just missed that top there, but which is fine. I mean, this is, again, it's going to be another one that we're just sort of topping up on right now for Tesla. We would love for this to run, ta-da! Oh, it is Teladoc right there. So that's a good one. Now, I didn't even see Teladoc because it's
too small.
It's so small right there.
Solar Edge.
It'll be Palo Alto. That's going to be a big piece of my portfolio. Not a big piece of my portfolio, but one of them. Solar Edge got booted from the S&P, so we'll find out about that. And then, I don't know, I can't see the other side of that.
The ones that you can't see that are blocked off, there's Caesars.
It's Toll Brothers is on there? Okay,
they're
good.
called, the earnings, not Earning Whisperer, but it's Market Chameleon listed the earnings call for tomorrow morning on Toll Brothers. That's why I thought it would have been in the morning, but they are aftermarket. The big one is Palo Alto, but the Teladoc, because of the short flow, looks interesting. The only reason I care about Garmin before the open is that my wife she's always had these expensive Garmin watches. Like, think of Garmin as paying 10 times as much as an Apple Watch or whatever they charge for that fitness watch, and then all distance athletes use them. Like, it's crazy how much you pay for those. I'm like, why don't you buy the stock? And then she doesn't buy the stock. But we'll watch. I'll watch that personally. But 330 just hit. I just got a reload in Micron. Or not a reload because I got out of it, so I guess I'm getting back into it. So back into it off this 50 dip. But we're starting to run out of time a little bit here. Is it going to hold on to this lower high? This lower high is about 80.45. So if it can hold on to that, fantastic. I got a stuck Phil X here on my... That's interesting. Anyways, if it can hold on to that 45, which was the previous bottom, great. If it can't, I'm just going to jump out. I got out of everything, at the 80.70 and then got a reload there. I was wondering, I'm like, it's not at 51. I have a stuck bid at 51 on MU.
All right, so we got out of half of our Tesla right there for 50 cents on the break higher there. How was my daughter had just a routine optometrist appointment. How was that appointment? So we'll ask about that. They got their skate sharpened, but yeah, so here's the implied moves for the names. So Matterport's right there, 21%, 25% Matterport should come in, but that's under $1 billion. That should be an interesting name. There's Solar Edge right now again as well. Yeah, the futures are starting to get spicy to the downside here, which is fine by me. Well, I'm only long Tesla, so it's not really that fine by me. There's Teladoc, so I want to check that expected move right now, 15.4. You can see we're talking about this column here, because if I hover over it, it takes, okay, it's not taking it away here. And that's about it, so we'll wait. But anyways, tomorrow, should be some good earnings there tonight, including that PNW, which is what we'll be looking at. So Tesla breaking back down below 192, and we'll get out. So again, it's too bad. It's too bad we didn't have a tick up. Well, we have 2 ticks up here. Both of these are 90s. One's an 84, one's like a 95 or something like that. Upside on Tesla. So we do have the outs. So it's fine, but not as good as we'd want that. Yeah, AMD, I mean, we put some money in our pocket and ran away from AMD today, but that could be another name here into the close. It's 334. What's up, CompuCare? What's up, Ponzi Fonzie? All you guys want those shout outs. Let me just check out what's going on with Google right here, as it's been a strong name, but now pulling back one more time there for Google. Look at this one. Wow. What a good short that would have been at 140, 130. Just tops all the way through.
That's the
now you're back
level.
into the bottom again of 140, 50.
Stay there for a second. Just stay on start, because if you look at that 140, 130 level, what I like about it is look what happened earlier in the day when it broke that as support.
Yeah.
Like it gets floodgates opening up at that price. If the market ever gives you a chance at those types of levels again, that's what makes a key level. That's just it's simple. And oddly enough, like that's what I liked about Palantir was 23.50. It ran away from this. We'll come back to my chart for a quick second now, because if we can, Ram. There we go. Yeah, so 21.50 broke down. Then I'm going to zoom in for you. Got right here to 23.30, tried to get back above, support turned into resistance, and it flushed off of that level. It gets back to there, now we're retracing back into VWAP. So that's what I liked about it. It's the only position we have on, because Micron, when I thought it was at 51, it was already like 47, so that 45 stop happened almost right away. That's why we got out of it. We're going to hang on to the last little bit of Palantir just to see if it can flush now through VWAP, because the market's starting to accelerate. I will not reload the 23.50, but it was essentially just a couple of opportunities, one off of resistance. Micron was trending to the upside, so we go 1 for 2, but keep the stop really tight there on Micron. It's a little bit late for this bounce off the previous high. Maybe VWAP or something like that if it gets down there in the next 20 minutes or so. But relative strength was why I like Micron for the consolidation top. But we're going to hang on to some Palantir. Let's see if it can get down into the 23.25 range and fall even further. But look for those key early levels in the first hour. If a support turning into a flush zone ends up being resistance in the afternoon, then it's all systems go as far as I'm concerned. And I see this C-pop popping.
Oh, God.
Pop culture.
Oh, God. Thank you.
I know it's up 150%, but just keep in mind, like this is a stock that did 4x this morning, like from bottom to top. So this going up $1 in retrospect, or in like relatively speaking, not a gigantic move right now, but it's starting to go. It's now above VWAP. That's the kind of thing, if it was 3 o'clock, I might be looking for the entry off of VWAP here to try and grab some longs off momentum. But when it gets this late in the day, I'm not a huge fan, because there's not as much time for it to go. And when you're trading as a day trader, you can't hold on for the aftermarket potential squeeze, which sometimes does happen.
We just talked about Google. There's 25 cents. All right, so again, market falls. Man, that was a good one. Wow, okay. That should have just put on more. Wow. So this Google trade, guys, is like a 10-cent stop, honestly. And we're now in the money like 40 cents. It just ripped up to the 35 cents as it just ripped up to the upside right there. Wow, that was That was quite a nice move. I want to put another piece at 87. If we can get an 87 again, great. That just topped out to 90. I was looking at these top wicks. I'm like, it's not going to get up there. Like, let's just take a dime, then take 15 cents, then we'll take VWAP. And again, all that I mean, my stop is at 39, like 30, where am I long? 54s? My stop is at 39. So 15 cents. Like, we're going to play off of right into here. This wick that we had earlier, 43s. Right there in VWAP. So far, so good here today on just this little baby play for Google. Let's see if we get back up. We're already out of 60% of it. If it falls back in, it will be an L, but we can get out right now and obviously be nicely in the money. Now 23 cents for that play. No panic, no cry for us on Tesla. We did get out of half of that. Now we can see if we can run back up to the upside. You know, when you're, like, I'm not feeling 1,000%, but you know, it's like when these trades come in, you see them and you hit them. So like that one there on Google was just, let's see if we can get another piece out here at 87s, and then we'll probably just hold the rest into the close. If we ever get back upside here, this should be a really, really big trade. So far, so good, man. Yeah, Tesla's a pretty nice hold as well. Thanks to Pro Day Trader and just everybody in the chat. It really, really means a lot, you know, to be able to trade with everybody and show kind of what's good here. So, all right, let's just see what's going on with Google. 87s is my next target. I'm still looking. So I'm only two longs. It's Google and it's Tesla. And let's just see where we can go from here. So Tesla, I do have an offer at 193.20. If we get back up there, then giddy up. Right now, it's only 10 minutes till the imbalances, and Brendo gave us 224 to sell. So the S word is not what I like to hear when I'm double long. Two longs here today only, and we'll go 2 for 2. So we run those shorts today, and we'll try to run these longs. Looks like it'll be an 8-2 day for us. Get to the upside here, Tesla. Get to the upside, Google. Maybe we'll take a piece. It's at VWAP again. I feel like we may be getting a little bit greedy here, but hey, this is day trading. And if you see something, sometimes greed can be pretty good. So let's get it back up to the upside here with Google and see if we can get some out here at 85.
I'm looking at the setup we just talked about with Mara. I'm looking at Mara on Palantir, where he had a support level turn into resistance. That's exactly what's happening right now on Mara. It's at 340, so there's probably not that much time left. It's under VWAP, that's trend. So there is your run away from it level.
Bye-bye.
There is one wick. I want to give this 2460. If it makes a break, I'm not waiting for VWAP here. I'm really just looking for that wick to hold the 2460 level. I have stickies on Boss X. I've already let some of these guys know. But Palantir is starting to bounce back up. Do I want to reload it off 2350? It has to happen before 350. If it gets there and it's like 347, 348, I can reload it for a tight stop. If it happens after that time, not going to do it. Do want to get away from this at the end of the day. It's a nice key level, but if we don't get a chance before the imbalances come out, then I'm going to stay away from it. Micron was a good bounce, maybe not exactly where I was expecting it, but it is starting to bounce off that 830. So there you go. It holds the previous high right back in. If it goes down there again, I'd look for a long off the 30 level, but I'm not holding that to VWAP. If it bounces off 30, that's an out at 30. Tightening up all stops at this time of day, giving things a little bit less room because there's less time for it to run. In the mornings, it's all well and good to give something more room because it's got all day for it to rally. In the afternoon, when you got 4 o'clock as a potential out, not just your stop level, you also have 4 o'clock as a day trader, then I have to respect some tighter stop areas. So new position is Mara on that support to resistance setup. I'm short at 40. The stop is in here. It's just above 55, and I'll be getting out about 20 cents worth of risk max plus slippage, 15 if there's no slippage at all. And it can even get down to 24 and look pretty good, and that would just be the last 30-minute range here. Mara looking pretty weak. That's the other thing relative to, BTC overall. Like BTC, much stronger move. Bitcoin, stronger move to the upside, breaking VWAP. You can see a heck of a lot more strength. So I'd rather play a retracement in something which is relatively weak, like relative to its own space.
Okay, so well, we got that Google fill at 85. So we only have now 20% left of that one. And then Tesla's mooned, and I did not get it out. Tesla went right back to that wick again. So now I feel like we should probably get something out if it gets back up there. So we'll put an offer, see if we can get a Tesla fill for that dollar, and then stop worrying about what's going to happen here in the last little bit as we, we have the trade, and all we're kind of doing right now is topping it off right there. Not like Obi Toppin's brother got eliminated there. Again, a guy that's not in the slam dunk contest. All right, there it is. So we'll take a fill right there. Spin it. All right, so there it goes, man. Nice move up to the upside, 193.17. And it's funny because Jaylen Brown just got a big payday and he went in this slam dunk contest. So mad respect to him, although his dunks are...
They really wanted him to win. They really did.
Those were bad. I mean, he did the D Brown thing once he landed. I don't understand. But anyways, okay. There we go. So Tesla, it's a money trade. We're all over it, man. It's $1 here. Hey, let's just do the dollar club. It's $1 there for Tesla. It's 40 cents now and ripping. I just tweeted this out. What a gift that was for Google. This is why you have to, honestly, that second stream of ours, it has our positions on there. If you're doing something else, go have that up. I feel like that's the really cool. And then like whenever I see something like that, I know exactly the name I want to go over to. We talked about it. We said Google's strong. Why is the market dipping? Let's go. So we went right over to Google and we took that. We took the VWAP break on Tesla. Everything else is gold, man. Like, honestly, we have 2 red names, 8 positive names. Today is another good day. Let's go handle some business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and 0 commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you very much there, Brendo. And shout out to Frank Caberna coming in. And we'll have Frank again on Thursday, which will be the aftermath of Nvidia. So the market's probably going to have moved a little bit there, but volatility is definitely inching up. I actually noticed the stocks that were up today on my quote board, obviously UVXY was up like 5%, but that's a function of what happens in these down markets. Mara about to take out this local top. Always going to have this up, like I said, tight stop, tight stop. It is 345, running out of time for a Palantir reload, but this was a similar notion to what we did in Palantir. And there's still a chance if it gets to like 45, I might look for that tight stop curl, but it's only halfway. It just needs to creep a little bit higher, and I'd look for that reload right in front of 50. It's one thing to grab like 41s and 42s when there's an hour left. If I'm taking a reload here, it's got to be 46, 47, 48, right in front of that 50 level where my stop is going to be. AMD's starting to break out, but I don't like a breakout trade at this time of day. It's a little bit late. Micron, I am sitting there on the bid trying to grab that reload, but I can go ahead and cancel that. You're now at the highs today on Micron. And this is sort of the thing. Always hunting for what is relatively weak and relatively strong as a trader. You can have the names that you like to the short side, like some of the chip names today, Affirm at the open, which ended up actually getting back to some of its highs, Intel for the greater part of the day. However, at some point, if you see something trending up when the market's trending down, it can be to your advantage. The earlier you notice that, the better. When the market was breaking lows, Micron held its morning breakout price, holding higher lows from the open to 10:30, to then again at 12 o'clock, higher lows. Then when it held VWAP, higher low, higher low. And then if you join that party, it's the lowest hanging fruit. I'm always looking for those types of trades because it's easier to go with the trend. That way you can make multiple trades. Even if you have relatively tight stops, it's easy to find ways back into it because it's just giving you consolidation break, consolidation breakout, dips in, those kinds of things. So you want to look for that relative strength if you are able to find it. Of course, that's always going to be a big if. So 2.5 minutes till we get the imbalances coming through. Palantir's at that 38 level. I'm looking for 46, 47. If we be able to get a short, that C pop is really popping now. Highs of the day. Hey, if you got it, don't be afraid to take a little bit of profit. This is one of these names. Reverse split, hold $1, and you can see where this thing is headed. Usually when they come back in, they do come back in pretty fast. I mean, it was a penny stock for a reason. But going a little bit parabolic here. It just rejected a $9 breakout. Actually could halt down off this move.
All right. That's a really old animation right there. Thank you to Russell Jackson who brought that one back. I'm never speechless, but We do have right here quite a nice, I gotta close that stream, it's bogging down my PC up in here. But there's Tesla, you know, unfortunately we only have 10% left, so we don't have any Stressla. Shout out to Adara on this one. As you could tell, man, we are very Stressla-less right now because like we just put that one in and gave you another one for that one, and we did not get reloaded. We just take advice from our aunt here and buy Tesla. So that was that move, a nice one right there. And then we have, of course, Google, 50 cents right there. Yo, what's up, Charlie Taff? I won thoughts. If I say I want to, I'm just going to read some stuff in the chat because you can see what we're doing here. And yeah, and thank you. I know looking dead might be a thing, but we'll take it today. I feel fine. Nike right now, 3. I was looking at that one maybe as a pull down. What else you guys want to talk about right now? Google's up. We're almost out of all of this. As Neil said, we're only a couple minutes now or less than 1 minute away from these imbalances. So we'll get rid of broker and then we'll find out what we're going to do next. So here comes Fisker. Here comes Nicola. We'll wait to see where this gets updated. I don't want ever to let this kind of go back against us, but we're only in we only have 20% left of this and 10% left of that. So it was a sell. We have a couple minutes now until we go. So we'll figure it all out coming up very, very soon. I'm exhausted, Monty G. Trust on that one. Okay, here we go. With only 10 seconds left, we'll see what's going to pop off. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And here we go. It is 350 now. And we will see if there is any kind of an update. Tesla, again, nice move. We're almost $1.50 now in the money on that. Intel's coming with the pain and the sell. We know about it. A lot of these numbers probably not huge. Brennan brings us the juice with $1 billion to sell, and that's excluding NASDAQ names. So here comes Apple starting to head back down to the downside right now. So no surprise there on a sell. Cisco with a bid as well. Google right there with a sell. My guy Goog over there. Maybe we'll have to look at that. Google right now, though, saying hold my beer and no worries because we're starting to head to the upside again on Google. So nice little move there. Maybe we'll get out if it breaks this 90 level and just call it a day because I got to go set up, man. Traders are going to stay late, and I do appreciate you guys staying late with me one more time here today. And then Tesla, a buck. Again, we could just do that same thing, breaking through 193. Let's just get out of that if it does break. So just change out everything right now and get out 192.97. If that's a breaker 19, do you read? We'll get out of that immediately and just end our day, man. It's been a monster day for us. Thank you for watching. Come back tomorrow, and we'll be doing much of the same. You know, either way, having a good time. So that's what that is. You can't predict red or green. Not everyone's going to be green. Not everyone's going to be red. But as long as you followed your plan, you should be happy with your trading. Sometimes the trades aren't there, but today they were.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it's about. Like today they were, but as long as you follow your plan, as you mentioned, and one of the things about the plan is it's 4 o'clock. You gotta get out at 3:50, tighten up stops. There's a wall on Palantir now right at the 40 level, so it should be pretty obvious. I'm moving the trail right into 40. Look at it, just 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a 3 minute. For 10 minutes, it's been rejecting the 40 level. So as simple as put offer in there, get bid down at the low, and if it retraces back into the bottom, the local bottom, I should say, at the quarters, then we get it all out. If it stops out at 40, I can try to hold on to this throughout that bottom play. Micron is continuing to go. I'm gonna mark off Micron for some relative strength. It's breaking the high of the day here. Tomorrow, I know we're talking about Nvidia pre-earnings, but I'm going to mark this off as a relatively strong name. It's been in a down cycle, and I've been saying this for a bit, that Micron on this channel that's been holding for the greater part of the last year, actually more than the last year, it was rejecting that channel underneath the 50, that it could be getting all the way down into the bottom where I would be a buyer just because of this channel. It's ridiculous. Hold 70 to 72. Come to my chart for a second. Yeah, hold 70 to 72. It's been a great little channel, but it's going halfway and holding 78. So this level here has turned into the bid. And if that's going to hold tomorrow and it's 1.5% up in a red day for the market that's down a point where the chips are weak, then I want to be looking for some longs in Micron if we can hold this $80 level on MU tomorrow. You want some other names outside of Nvidia to trade in the chips because that's the way it's been. Like they're all moving, so you just want to find something that you can sink your teeth into in either direction. It doesn't really matter. There's some good shorts and good longs in the chip names. That's what we'll be back to tomorrow. So it's just going to be Palantir for me. I was watching Pan W to see if there was anything going on into the close. It went red. It wasn't a big move. A little bit of a pullback here late in the day for Pan W. It was green right before the imbalances came out, but I'd say it's been an inside day for Palo Alto. It'll be difficult for them to, look, you talk about the earnings for a name that's been high flying like this. It's a little bit difficult in this kind of an environment for them to have earnings that are going to give a shock to the upside. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but when you are coming off these highs, it has been difficult for the bigger stocks to try to please everybody, despite the fact that it's been an absolute rocket ship here on Palo Alto. So watch out for this one. You're going to get them in the market recap show. I don't know what time they report, but you'll have them live with Sean for sure.
Yeah, you will definitely have him live with me. I'm just checking out. Thank you so much to everybody here who continues to support the recap show and everybody there in the chat. Yo, what's up with, it wasn't CompuCare, what's up the CompuCare team? Who was saying that? What's up the Comp SRX1? I'll take a hot samosa, that'd be really nice. My wife cooks crazy Indian food, so that should be fun. Maybe I'll see what, we'll find out what we're having tonight. But anyways, we're gonna have Brian Shannon coming through, Teladoc Palo Alto, and then we will talk about, that's Nvidia, of course. We'll talk a little bit about them coming up in the next couple minutes. We'll be having Brian Shannon on, and we'll go over all that. So please go over and find it ASAP and join me as we'll have a lot of fun here. We're just wrapping it all up, man. So hey, it is, like I said, it is what it is. Thank you so much for that. What's up, Comp? Hey, what's up? I trade Sean 4 days with you. What's up, Mario, Vlad? Yeah, if you're red, that's your bad. I just had 3 or 4 great days in a row there. And that's why I keep trying to tell you guys, like the trades that I'm, hitting here are like, we've talked about the strong names, right? Like if you're trading with me, you should not be red today because ARM, Amazon, and Apple were all the shorts, and those were absolutely monsters. The only name, I'm only red on one name that I've showed you guys, that's Palantir. The other, I got to go over to the desk. So, and this one name, we shouldn't have been red. We had too many shares early. That's one name there. Then the other name that we didn't even talk about that I meant to and I kept on forgetting was General Motors. We went short right into here, 38.80. And then when it broke, we got out right there at 38.85. That's 86. So right there, right now, We're working, like we told you guys, on the second stream. Hopefully we'll be able to put if we're red or green on symbols, and then you guys can figure that out. We'll try to figure out our share sizes and stuff, but all you can do is ask, and all I can do is tell you if I'm up or down on the day. So right now we're nicely up, and we'll see what happens here with only 4 minutes to go. And then we'll work off that. So right now, Tesla is the last one. Like this is $1.70 in the money. No other ticks other than this. So that's going to be a good one for us. We might as well get out at 194. This is $1.70. This Google trade, right? I mean, what's up? What's up with this one? This is the only trade we have all day right there. Nice move back up to the upside, 141 and change. So yeah, man, we're cruising right now, and we'll might as well just get out. So there it is. We got out of Google because it did break that level, but we're still in Tesla. So let's just end the day, guys, with a $1 and a $2 winner now on Tesla to end the day. So far, so good here. We'll wrap it up. We'll get flat, and then we'll head over to the desk. So in 3 minutes, join me for the market recap show. The best one out there where traders stay late with me. Thank you so much, CompRS1 and everybody else, man. What's up to Pro Day Trader and everybody that follows me?
Yeah, and one of the things you can do now is you also can not just stay late. We didn't mention this enough, I think, today.
We done.
But the morning show, like we're gonna start that, like the stream now before we actually go live at 8:30. You're gonna be able to see that load page at 8 o'clock, so you can see what the gappers are, the movers, what the indexes are doing. So if you like that page, the new stream, I think it's fantastic because it gives you a look. If there's something moving in the pre-market and we're in it before we even go live, you're gonna get a chance to see that as well because the positions will be active for that, which I think is really, really cool. At least it gives you something to work with. I know for the Breakfast Club that's here early at like 7 a.m., it may not satisfy everybody, but at 8 o'clock, we are gonna have that second stream page up for you guys. And shout out to everybody. I saw there was overwhelming support for it. I'm just gonna quickly show you here. This is what I'm talking about for anyone that if you're tuning in and you haven't seen this, this is what I'm getting at. Like, you're going to be able to see this at 8 o'clock before we start at 8:30 every single day. And I saw the rating of the dashboard. 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star. 55% are giving it 4 stars. For everybody that's like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, please give us suggestions in the chat. I think there are some very good ones. The focus, everyone likes to see what positions we are in and where. And then the breaking news, of course, is a bit of a big thing as well, to be able to get that settled. And the percentage gainers, I think, is very valuable, especially in the pre-market. So just letting everybody know, that is available before we even go on at 8:30. You can check that at 8 o'clock every single day. I'm out of Palantir because it cannot seem to break down. Now you're seeing 2340. There it is, back and forth. It cannot seem to break it up or down. I just punched out when it was about to take it, and they refreshed that level. So 1 minute to go in the market, nothing really moving like crazy, but we are breaking back toward the highs. I'm going to have Palo Alto up, PanW, because that's the earnings name that I want to watch the most. Doesn't mean it's going to be the biggest mover. It did a bit of a dip into VWAP in here, but with 1 minute left to go, they are the big cap report that most eyes are going to be on, but it's not the biggest this week. Everybody knows it's going to be Nvidia, but you got to wait a day for that. PanW could easily be a 10% mover. The expected, I think, is 9.5% on Palo Alto, so it's not as if this is anything to sleep on. I'm expecting some fireworks here. I'm not selling any in my long-term account, but I think a lot of people are hoping that they can blow this out of the water because the valuation has been a concern for some. You know what to do. You got to get the camera off me, get it over to Adara as the market is closed in 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. And just like that, the market is closed. Don't know exactly what time PanW is going to give you the print, but it will be the big one after market. So watch out for that. I want to give a big shout out not just to Fabian and Remain. They've been doing a fantastic job all day on both streams, by the way. Both streams they've had to monitor and make sure they're looking good. And Mark for getting that second stream up so you can follow the positions, so you can follow the overall market as well, which is what we're all about here. So live trading plus a look at that overall market and positions on the midday. Speaking of the midday, shout out to Obi filling in for a sick Sharif. Great job with the Dara today. Can't say that enough. And then we had a great, fantastic guest, as always, in the afternoon. Shout out to Frank Caberna, kicking it with Brendan, as always. He's always crushing it, and it's about giving you guys that extra look. It's not just about the day trading and the active movers. You want to see what's going on with rates, with the US dollar. That's why we bring on guests like that. Another fantastic guest on tap. As I'm sending you to the desk, the market recap is coming up. There was a move in Palo Alto, but I think somebody might have fat-fingered something at the close. Those earnings aren't out yet, but somebody sold it a couple of bucks to the downside. Hate to be them. But let's get over to the desk. You got the market recap with Palo Alto and Toll Brothers reporting after the bell.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining one more time. As traders stay late, and you guys are staying late with me right now, we will review the market recap, and then the minute we get Palo Alto, Toll Brothers, some of these other names, we are watching Benzinga Pro. Someone actually sent me, Brendo, an idea about this. I'm going to send it to you. There's a function on this where you can just get the Dow Jones news release. We'll figure that out. Get these numbers a little bit faster. I'm going to fix that for tomorrow. But right now, we'll wait for PanW coming through as well. And that's what I'm all about, man. You guys really nailed that one right here, right now. Thank you so much. I am going to have you guys open as well. I do have Benzinga in my ear. If anything is here right now, I'm going to get that to you right now. So I see some people talking about Toll Brothers right now. Looks like Caesars Entertainment is out right now. So let's go back over and have a quick little look. Nice little dip in for Caesars. Thank you so much. Fabian, thank you so much for that. I like this. All right, here we go, man. PanW, this is the name that we're going to wait for. Again, Cloudflare, a little bit different on that report. Made a nice move, then came back in. We've seen Datadog was another one recently that started to move back down to the downside there off their earnings. So a nice move up and then a pullback into the 50 period for Datadog. Let's just go find out about Cloudflare, which of course is net. There's their earnings. Nice move to the upside and then faded back out about down 15%. Did you guys like the podcast? I sure as hell hope that you did. My stream deck is not loaded. I'm just going to load that up right now so we can hit some bangs and hit the roll call and everything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed that this weekend. Thank you so much for supporting it. Go over, find it on Apple, on Spotify, podcasters, something like that has it all. There's Pan W, not out yet, but we're going to wait to see if that comes through. There it is. We're testing out again. So there it is. Yeah, we are going to start drinking some water. That is for sure. I really like Nvidia to the downside. We've talked about that a little bit right here. We'll find out tomorrow. How exciting is that going to be tomorrow, right now, at this time, as we patiently wait for the biggest and the baddest? It's Nvidia time. It's tomorrow, and we've been waiting for that. We do not have Pan W. Thank you so much to Farley, man. He absolutely loves the podcast. That means a lot to Brendo and I and the family here. Wow, lithium. I mean, this name just continues. Obviously, it's an ETF, but the lithium ETF continues to make lows here. You're banging up against a very, very big bottom here. I mean, I got to do more work on lithium. We've had Raheem on as well. Obviously, Michael Nas talks fundamentals and things like that, or sorry, technicals, not fundamentals. We need some of that because right now lithium goes all the way back to a real super key level, back down to $39 for lithium. I'm still waiting, guys. The minute Pan W comes out, we will have it. Thank you so much, Dan Gilman. Today was another great day, and we're proud to bring you the heat. USO today, oil making moves to the downside. Oh, the exciting news today, I guess, was Walmart. Walmart kind of pulled back all day. Strong fourth quarter performance. Net sales grew 5.7% year over year. Again, another name that we talked about on the podcast. I liked Walmart. Brendan and I sort of talked about Home Depot versus Walmart. And then my big thing was, forget about all of that. Let's just talk about the split incoming for Walmart. But the problem for Walmart today, again, really good earnings report. I mean, nothing wrong with it. We just went over some numbers there. Adjusted EPS 180, exceeding 165. It was pretty good, but it sold off all day. Walmart finally found a base in and around 175. I'm not in this name. I continue to only own Costco and Amazon on the retail side of things. Oh, by the way, I don't know anybody that shops at Abercrombie and Fitch. Brendo? No? Abercrombie? No, he is hell no. But look at this stock, $28 all the way up to $120. ANF right now saying, Nvidia, who the hell are you? These guys up right now 5x in under a year. I mean, they have a cologne? Oh, that's right. Yeah, you go in there, you feel like you're in Vegas there. Okay, Pan W maybe is out right now. Coming out is Palo Alto. We're going to find the number for you right now if I can get it. I don't see it here on Benzinga, but we will have that in 1 second. There it is. Palo Alto down. Bring it down, honestly. I mean, I haven't been, oh, shoot. This is where I need my guy, Brian Shannon, immediately. Pan W, downside move, right into the 50 period. Somebody, my wife, if you're watching, log into my account. Let's buy some more Pan W, baby. It's a nice move to the downside. Teladoc is also out. I'll get Palo Alto for you in a minute. TDoc, I have those numbers. They are out right now as well. Teladoc, Q4 sales, 660 with a miss. How of a sudden we got all this energy, baby? We're here for you. This is what we're doing. More agua, more agua. TDoc, sales miss. Ring Central. I thought Ring Central... Is this different? I thought they were bought by Amazon Ring, but maybe Ring Central, the programming side of it. Teladoc, I don't know, don't quote me on that. So Teladoc right now, downside on the EPS. Once again, do not have Pan W yet on here, but Pan W is out. As soon as I see it, I will talk a little bit about that one. I like this downside push here for Palo Alto, but again, we talked about buying good names when they pull back. So Pan W is pulling back. But as I look at the chart, guess what? You're back to less than a month ago where we were at. So we've had a huge move up in the market. You do want to buy the best names. If you are overexposed in this space, you may want to watch out. This should create some downside moves. So I'm going to call up. I didn't realize I only had a 1 minute chart or 5 minutes. So let's go see what Pan W looks like now on a 1 minute chart. So starting to, wow, 315. What am I doing? Brendan, take over. I'm going to go buy more shares. Palo Alto right now, EPS beat on EPS, 146 versus 130 right now for Pan W. We'll find out what their guide. The guide must be absolutely horrendous because as far as I'm concerned, people are still, oh yeah, you know what? Why in the world would I want a cybersecurity name when we have elections in 5 months? I mean, I don't know. I just feel, okay, here we go. Palo Alto. I know I'm being like really, really dramatic. I'm gonna take some more water. Maybe I'm having a hyperventilating over here. Where am I? Where am I? Oh yeah, we're right where we belong. We're here with you guys right now. Palo Alto right now, sales of 1.98 billion versus 1.97 billion. So this looks like it's okay. It has to be the guide right now. Let's just go check out in the next name that I like. I'm not in CrowdStrike. Again, I'm only in Palo Alto in this space. But CrowdStrike, this is actually getting hit. Is this getting hit more than PanW? CrowdStrike right now down 7%. Palo Alto down, no, my bad. Palo Alto's getting cranked, down 13%. That would make no sense for one to be down more than the others. SolarEdge says, hey guys, hold my beer. We're the ones kicked out of the S&P 500, and by good news right now, looks like we deserve that. There goes SolarEdge, downside move for SEDG. What are they talking about? They're talking about Q4 EPS right now, 92 cents in the red, beating 133 in the red. So beating on the top and missing on the bottom. The bottom would be this. Missing on the top there was sales, 316 versus 323 right now. This is El Problemo for Palo Alto. Sound the alarm. We'll hit the fail right now on Palo Alto. You know what? I need that alarm over here, actually. I'm going to get those digits from you, Fabian, in a minute. It doesn't happen today. 124 versus 126. Downside. So they wanted 129 for PanW. They get lower all over the place. Why are they seeing lower revenue? Why are they seeing lower EPS? Palo Alto, disappointment right now. Hey, Mike B. Yo, what's up to Mike B right now? You want to see Jim Cramer versus your boy? What does that even mean? In what? I mean, I feel like we both try to bring it, and so shout out to Jim Cramer, man. I mean, if you want to see me versus Jim Cramer bank accounts, I'm taking Uncle Jim over and over and over again, man. Wait till we release the Trader TV.live hedge fund, then we'll get dressing, hopefully for success, and deal with Mr. Cramer at that point. But nothing but love for everybody out there, as to each their own. Okay, PanW. I don't know. I really have a spot for Cramer because when I was younger, me and my father, and this was like, honestly, we would have dinner sometimes in front of the television. And the show was 6 o'clock, so it kind of fit. He worked like a dog. My dad worked from like 5 a.m. to sometimes 8 at night. So whenever he was home, we definitely tried to watch that. So I learned a lot about investing from Cramer. And my first trade I ever made, I was managing my own portfolio sort of as I was getting out of university and even a little bit younger into that. So like 17, 18 there. So I just want to say shout out to Jim Cramer and like teaching me all about investing early. Like I've been buying Apple and all that from days. And a lot of that is from him, Costco, things like that. So anyways, Palo Alto is one of those names. So there it comes back in. Palo Alto right now down to 315 and looking to hold. I really like this. I want to talk about XRT a little bit today when we went off about Walmart. So you could see XRT, this is the retail. Again, big holdings in this are A&F, our big piece now, because we showed you that it's up 400% this year. Poultry, 400%. I apologize, I got to still drink some more water here. What's up, Lolo, man? You guys are loving the show. Thank you so much. Look, the one thing you can do, we got to impress Brendan, who looks at all the numbers. You got to hit the like, you got to hit the subscribe, and you got to put comments like, wow, man, I can't believe Sean does this after 4 o'clock. Man, traders are staying late with this guy. We're the real ones. Anyways, everybody stay late as we just kind of having some fun here. We're still all here, man. Brendo's right beside me right now. Obi's still in the building. We've got Fabian. I've got my main guy, Brian Shannon, coming on deck right now again. Brian, we've got some interesting questions here, and I got one for you, my guy. We have Palo Alto. It is making moves to the downside. So the best part about it is we're going to talk about Nvidia. I remember on a couple of earnings ago, we had Brian on, and he nailed that 470 long. He drew an anchored VWAP. So let's get our questions ready for Brian. I'm going to be asking him on a stock like Palo Alto. I'm taking this out of my ear right now. Where exactly are we going to put this anchor? Where would he put it for PanW? Because a guy like me is already mad that I didn't buy this dip down here at 315 because I'm with everybody, but you can't worry about stock prices after hours. Let's go find a technical level on Palo Alto, and I have the best guy rocking with me in just a couple minutes. It's going to be Brian Shannon. Go research this guy at Alpha Trends, and you'll see exactly what I'm saying, man. Real see real on that one. So the Q's finally starting to fall back in, man. We had 14 out of 15 straight weeks upside. We just now had another red week in the NASDAQ, making that 14 of 16. We're starting to turn around a little bit. Me and Brian have talked about some questions underneath the hood. Looks like the NASDAQ today trying to roll back over again. NASDAQ down 0.1. We had some pretty hot fire trades. We did not trade the index today. Maybe we'll look at that tomorrow. But let's go back over to the screen here just real quick. Is Toll Brothers out, by the way? Why have I ignored Toll Brothers? I don't see Toll Brothers out. So we'll find out what's going on right now. Why, thank you, Leroy, wondering where I get this jawline from. You know, must be genetics. No, Ramin, you may not find out where. Drink more water. It's my father's such a handsome individual. I got the bat into the stick. Oh, Elon, look at this. Elon on the chat. Brian, if you're with us, look at this. Elon on the chat. Hi, Sean. I just brought Brian's book. Bang, there it is, a little bit there. So, you know, I'll have to work on a percentage for that. No, thank you so much for continuing to support Brian, man. His book is absolutely great, and that's why we've brought him back on every single time. This guy's a real one. His book, it's right over there. I'm gonna have to get it. About anchored VWAP, absolutely. Oh, that's right. I always forget what it's called. I believe it's called Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. But go to alphatrade.net. I'm going to have that book in just a couple of seconds. We will look at that. What else you guys want to talk about, man? Nvidia's turning over a little bit. Let's go back over and look at Pan just real quick. Okay, so Pan W's falling back in again. So that's good, man. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And let's go, man. What's up to everybody that's there? We're just going to keep on working and going for it. Someone said, how do I get a chance to work out? Look, I'm trying to hop on the Peloton every once in a while. You can see clearly it's not working the greatest, but we're going to hop back on there. Again, did I see WK's report? No, I did not. But you know what we didn't look at too much today at all was Home Depot. Why not, man? Home Depot, didn't they report today? Like Home Depot did absolutely nothing. Flat on the day is HD. Just real quick. This is why, is it Depot or Depot? Did you just say there, Fabian? Home Depot, I believe is the right name. Silent T. They're youngins? Yeah, Depot, yeah. These guys killing me over here. Home Depot starts today in around 358. It does look like it makes a higher move. Stops at 365. I really like Home Depot as well as Home Depot. But you can look at Walmart again versus Home Depot. I choose the one that's breaking out. So Pikachu, I choose you with Walmart. Nice little move there. Q's moving a little bit in the after hours. USO downside. I'm ready when you guys are. For the man, the myth, the legend, it will be Brian Shannon coming up in just a matter of seconds. Palo Alto, wow, still making a dive. I want to find out where can I buy Palo Alto with there. Sticky note is $7 up. Look, man, we will talk about the sticky note, and because you mentioned it, why the heck not, man? We have a great resource coming in on your way in just a minute from Alpha Trends. We have just as good of one. There he is. There's a handsome individual. You'll see him in just a couple seconds. But right now, this is what was on the sticky note today. Hey, it was just arm short, man. We definitely nailed that one for today. We are going to go over a sticky note recap. Amazon was the banger of the day, the #1 P&L stock at Trader TV Live. Amazon today, followed by ARM, followed by Apple. We had them all. We wanted to get RIVN, possible dip buys in RIVN. There's so much I want to ask, Brian. Where do we dip buy RIVN if all else fails coming in tomorrow? Thank you so much for your kind words there in the chat. I'll do bang for that. Everybody that's watching, thank you so much. Traders are staying late. Over 3,200 of you watching with limited earnings. I want to thank you for that one. Hey, Fabian, I'm waiting. He's ready. Well, okay, let's bring him on. Brian, I'm sorry about that. Apparently we were waiting for a couple minutes, but we just went on and on. Thank you so much for coming on one more time with us. How was your day today? How was your weekend? How was President's Day?
President's Day was good. You know, it was a quiet weekend. I got some exercise in, and not
Nice.
a Peloton, but like to get outside. And today I was fairly quiet, but decent day overall.
Everybody, I still get comments, a lot of comments about the book in your chat, in our chat. So again, thank you so much for producing that. It's been definitely helping me out. What I want to talk about was how you just absolutely nailed, once again with the anchored VWAP, a couple earnings reports ago, you nailed Nvidia. So we get a little bit of a disappointing report here from Palo Alto. I'm looking to get into this name. I really like the space with cybersecurity. Can we sort of dive in here a little bit? What would be some key levels that you're maybe looking at with Palo Alto? The screen is yours.
Okay, as always, we've got on the left the daily time frame, and on the right a 30 minutes. So each one of those bars is 30 minutes, and that shows this 30-minute candle, which includes what's happening right now. The green is the year-to-date anchored volume weighted average price. And we're well below that, obviously. The average price that this stock is traded at this year is $339. So that kind of tells me that the institutional demand isn't really there as much now. And that level, if we're to get a bounce up into that area, is likely to offer supply. Let's back it up to the daily time frame first. And you can see that this low that we had, this gap lower and then reversal in late November, mid-November, that anchor was perfect support right here. We bounced incredibly from that level. And now that level is at about 308. Here we are currently at 318. It's just kind of turning sideways, doing a whole bunch of nothing. I think the risk is down to about that level, that maybe it tries to settle down in there. It's generally not the best idea to buy on the first day of weakness, but who knows, maybe they're going to say something in their conference call that gets that next drive down towards that 308 level.
Yeah, or I guess it could go the other way, and maybe we want to dip by something a little bit small. Do you ever take in consideration, maybe for your longer term holdings, the macro situation, or are you always just really using technicals? If certain levels break, we're out, so on and so forth? Like, because I really like PanW heading into the election year for cybersecurity.
Generally, that doesn't play as much a role for me, Sean. It's, you know, I stick to what I'm good at, which is swing trading. So I don't really like to deviate outside of that. Or if I do, I kind of keep it to myself because I don't really feel like I'm the expert there. So I don't.
I'm still trying to find out.
Opinions as valuable,
I'm still trying to find out what I'm good at. Hydration Nation, let's have a sip. There it is. We even got graphics around here. All right. So another name that I was a little bit concerned about, and I'll give you a second to call it up. Maybe you heard me talk about it. Tomorrow we get RIVN. Now we've seen Tesla absolutely destroy. Come over to my screen. I'll give Brian a second to load up some RIVN here. So again, my common look here, and I have anchored VWAP as well on this Trade Ideas. So where I would sort of anchor it to, what would be, what about this August high? If I put a little anchored VWAP up there, then we're going to get 20 bucks high side right now on the daily chart. But maybe I can also put an anchor maybe to this very low down here as well into May. But again, I have, we're way under all these anchored VWAPs right now. So what are we going to look at here for RIVN? I am a little scared, Brian, that maybe we do fall back in, as a lot of these EV names seem to not be holding water now. What do you see on RIVN? Is there a possible area of support that might be interesting to you? Because I see it way under anchored VWAP now.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just looks to me like a broken stock. If you look at my screen, as I always say a lot on here, I'm a big fan of the phrase, if they didn't scare you out, they'll wear you out. And realistically, this is just in a long-term do nothing. Looking to the daily time frame, we're below a declining 20-day, well, we're right at the 20-day moving average, but the 50, the 200 are declining. We're below those. I would simply just avoid this stock personally, Sean, unless there's some kind of, big surprise that gets this, lights a match under this thing. It just kind of looks to me like dead money unless you're going to be in there, day trading it. I avoid for me.
Why can't I keep thinking, I keep only getting coarse air because I'm thinking about CRISPR Therapeutics. So what is that ticker again? Can you remind me?
CRSP.
Oh, CRSP. I keep on CRSR. I type in here. CRSP. Okay. So they came out today, did they? Just now, I guess, on CRISPR Therapeutics. So it is making a little bit of a move down. You've nailed this one for our viewers, man. You talked about this down here near $66, trying to break back out. Then we break above this 72, and we absolutely nail it. I'm seeing it right here on Trade Ideas that actually, today's the 20th, right? Am I not, what world am I in again?
Yeah, no, I've got the same thing.
Okay, so there it is, a nice little downside move right now for CRSP. But you nailed this. Any thoughts right now on what we're seeing with CRISPR?
I think that it needs to digest this gain. That was a hell of a move.
Yeah.
I gave my stock away a little bit early. If you recall, I was referencing the anchored VWAP from the all-time high,
Yeah.
which was over here at about that 200 level, and it came right up into that. I sold my final piece there. I kind of broke a
Nice
little bit
trade.
of a rule by selling at the level and not raising my stop, but still, it was a great trade. I can't really complain about it. We took it from here up to there. And now it seems likely that it's going to need to digest a little bit here. I would think that if it starts to get some real downside momentum, that an anchor off of this little low right here would bring it down towards about 73 bucks per share. So I'd keep an eye on that level if you really like the stock.
Yep. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Palo Alto still making moves down into 317 in change right now as we speak. Are we to be nervous? Yeah, here's Pan W. I just want to show everybody. That's a 5-minute chart, so we are starting to bleed a little bit lower. Maybe we'll look for that 308 and change, which is coming in, Brian, right now. But I'm just laughing because I was just joking about wanting to go in and buy this, but having to be on the show. It looks like I might have saved myself a little bit, but I do like this name. All right, we've been talking a little bit about the epic run-up now that we've seen. I know you use 5-day moving averages, different things like that that we've talked about. I don't know. I'm looking at these triple Qs. I like to trade them on the show, or I'll use a levered product like a TQQ or an SQQ just to get that little momentum in as a day trade. But we talked about this. Everything seems to be priced to perfection. We're now coming out of earnings season. If there's not going to be catalysts as far as earnings are concerned, is there anything that maybe you're looking for now to give you confidence in a direction for this market? Is there anything you're looking at, Brian?
Well, the longer term trend is still clearly higher. I mean, we're a week off of all-time highs, from a week ago. And we're getting a little bit of a pullback. I don't know if this is going to be different than the other pullbacks or if it's just going to be a pullback. Maybe we get a little bit deeper this time down towards the 50-day moving average and maybe undercut this low a little bit. So somewhere down near the 420-ish level. A lot of people are a fan of that number. But I don't see any magic to the 50-day moving average. I'd really like to see it kind of maybe do this, come down, undercut it, start to stabilize, and then begin to recover. But just the magnitude of this rally off of those October lows tells us that we have to be more cautious. And 2 days of selling, we've seen the volume increase both of those days. So it's worth noting that the divergences that have been there, that is rallying on lighter volume. Now we're starting to see maybe a little bit more consistent selling on the profit taking. That it's going to at least take some time for some new really good swing trade setups to reveal themselves. I think we got ahead of ourselves a lot.
So are we using a word like patience when we're looking for setups right here? Because that's really helped me over the last little while, Brian. I mean, patience is so very key. Brian, traders stay late. You're staying late with us. Can I get a question from our viewers to ask you?
Love to hear it, yes.
Let's go, bang. All right, come over to my screen right now because I picked one out. This is a longtime viewer. It's Mr. D Loaf right now. So you can have, A loaf, B loaf, C loaf. But we have D Loaf here. He wants to know, what are Brian's favorite time frames to anchor VWAPs when swinging? He's asking hourly, 4-hour, daily, weekly candles. What are some stuff that you're looking at? Is there potentially, Brian, when you're trying to go for swing trades, are you looking at, let's just do it like that. Are you looking at dailies, weeklies? Maybe you have an answer for Mr. D Loaf.
Yeah, D-Loaf, good question. I like to look at, all the time frames and how they weave together. The first book was multiple time frame analysis, and I think you have to have multiple time frames. One thing about that question he asked was, he said 1-hour charts or 4-hour charts. I would never suggest anyone use a 4-hour chart in particular because the market's open 6.5 hours per day.
Right.
That means you would have one 4-hour candle and one 2.5-hour candle. So any average you have gets skewed by that.
You wouldn't even have data points there.
Well, what's that?
You wouldn't have enough data points if you're just charting that.
Yeah, and they're irregular base. They're and one apple and one orange. You can't compare them. So similar with the 60-minute or hourly time frame, I use a 65-minute period because there's 390 minutes in a day.
There it is. There it is.
And if you took an hourly chart, you would have 6.5 of those. Instead, if you used 65-minute time frame or a 30-minute time frame, you have equal distribution. So on 30 minutes, you've got 13 candles per day, or 65 over the period of 5 days. So the question is, first I will start with multiple time frame analysis. I think you want to identify your trade idea on either a daily or weekly time frame. Be aware of the bigger picture. And then for your risk reward assessment, to kind of try to figure out where those key levels are: 30-minute, 65-minute, anchor from highs and lows, big events. And then for the order entry, you can go down as low as, for swing trades, as low as 1 minute if you're in the first 30 minutes of the day. I'll switch it out to a 5-minute time frame after about an hour of the day goes by. And I, again, want to be aware of what's today's volume weighted average price, what's the prior day's VWAP, what's the high off of this recent low. Excuse me, high, that's a high, isn't it, up there? I was talking about 420 too much. So that high there, I want to know, is that going to potentially become supply tomorrow in the NASDAQ? So I would use them all and see how they weave together.
We had Daniel Shea on, who trades. Thank you so much for that question, or that answer there, and thank you, Dilo, for the question. Yeah. Great one. We had Daniel Shea on last week, and she's talking about options, and that's what she trades. And then I was like, hey, I need an options play for SMCI. It was up at 1100. I said I want something near 700. It's actually at 700 today in just 2 days. We fell down 35%. So that was a banger idea. What I want to get from you right now, before I have to let you go, because it's 4:30, and again, I know you're staying a little extra here, but Nvidia, Brian, reports tomorrow. So last time we anchored a VWAP, and honestly, I almost fell off my chair because it went right to that level, and then it ripped up like 50 bucks. So obviously, anchored VWAPs and are looking for areas of support and areas of interest that will trade around. So we know that this is not a call for a guaranteed support level or anything like that. But what can we maybe expect? We had a 5.5% move down. At least I think that's what it was at the end of the day there on Nvidia. And it's looking like it got a little top heavy. We've been talking about it for a minute. If tomorrow we get a number that the market doesn't like, what are we looking at for Nvidia? Maybe a quick 1 or 2 minute answer where we could possibly see this name going, either both ways, but more importantly, a lot of traders looking to maybe buy in on any possible dips.
Sure. The daily time frame here, we've got that 20-day moving average right here. This is just from that recent gap. Let's get rid of that just to not confuse people. I think the most important level, Sean, is you've got to go back to your most important low, which was basically your year-to-date volume-weighted average price right here. And that would bring us down. And, I don't think this is going to happen, but this is just the level of interest. Down at about 620 or so. And you can see that over here on the 30-minute time frame. That's that green, which is the year-to-date anchored volume-weighted average price. So to me, that's the key level. If we were to sell off really strong down towards that level, I would really think that that would be defended by the buyers in that area. As far as upside, I mean, anything can happen there. We've got to be aware of the anchor off of the high and that 5-day moving average come together right in here at about 720. So I would love to see it come all the way down to that 618, 620 level, and then maybe get a sharp bounce and see how it unfolds from there.
So I used to follow a rule about the 3-day rule. You mentioned that a little bit. Excuse me, with Pan W today, maybe letting it settle down. 3-day rule, is that something that you've sort of heard of? Because I kind of think about, you let the first day, let it settle in, then you get upgrades and downgrades kind of on that first day into the second day. Then the third day, there's a little bit less interest there. So maybe you can find a quiet bottom or a top and then trade it off those levels. 3-day rule. Am I crazy, or have you heard something similar to that?
No, I think that makes a tremendous amount of success. The first day, definitely, unless you're just in there day trading it, that's different. But as far as trying to buy the first day and hold, it generally isn't going to work. I mean, SMCI is a great example of that. And then, tomorrow would be day 3 for SMC. So maybe that's where that one gets a little bit of sanity tomorrow.
All right, so you caught me right there. We're hiding our face. It is anchored VWAP. I think I got it close to being right the first time. Maximum trading gains with anchored VWAP. They can go find it at Alpha Trends. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming through again. One of the best and one of my favorite, as per usual. Thank you so much, Brian.
My pleasure, Sean. Thanks for having me on.
Take care, my friend. That was Brian, and that's Trader Talk. All right. Wow, man. So Nvidia down to 620. We're going to remember that tomorrow. 620 Nvidia. Maybe we'll put some bids down there. We've been talking about selling some of these tops. I hope some of you are able to do that today. But you know what? A 5% pullback on a name like Nvidia, you know, we can get a little lower than that, I feel like. So I'm not doing anything. A big shout out to Brian coming through right there. Toll Brothers just came out as well. Nothing to report on Toll Brothers, honestly. I thought it had to be a chance of a little bit of a mover. Did they get... I just saw it on here. Where did it go? All right, maybe it's not out. I thought Toll Brothers was out, but maybe I just missed it. Hold on a second. I don't want to leave the show here without telling. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it did come out. So I think they just might have removed this. So Toll Brothers right now, Q1 EPS of 225, beating 178, and also a beat on the sales side of it as well. So Toll Brothers appears to be out and not really moving around too much. Quick check in on Pan W, and then we'll just really quickly go to see. Pan W. I typed it into Benzinga instead. Yeah, so 314. I like this level. I think it's worth picking something up. All right, what else do you want to talk about? What were some tweets that I had out today? Well, I mean, the biggest and the baddest of them all, I feel like, is going to be Amazon and my sticky note today. So the thing about all of this is, I just want to talk about one thing. Someone named Mario on the afternoon show there said that, like, how could Sean be up because he's down following my trades? I completely understand that could be something. But I'm just here to tell you that it is very, very tough. And that's what, oops, my layout didn't even load right now. No, that's not funny. You can show the turkey. You can show the chicken here. I mean, so I was actually telling Brendan, I tried to log in here and the software didn't load up, but you have to trust me on this one. I'm going to show you, hey, what's up, turkey? I'm going to show, is that a chicken or a turkey? No, it's a turkey, right? We actually had this, we had this debate on the podcast. I don't think we ever settled it out. But if you go over to my profile right now, hopefully you'll be able to see. We got Google as a nice bottom. We talked about Tesla ripping that for a buck at the end of the day. We talked about shorting AMD here. My Amazon trades are pretty clear here, right off the top. We shorted a firm multiple times today. But the big thing here that I want to talk about was, first of all, what about this crazy stat? From Friday. Shout out to Beth here. Kindig, I feel like I should know that. How many followers? I feel like I should know who this is. 124,000. Okay, so Nvidia and SMCI, can you believe this stat? Accounted for more than $4 of every $10 traded from the top stocks on Friday. That doesn't make any sense to me at all, but it is true. So there's a lot of love in these names. So make sure that you do join me no matter what tomorrow, as we'll be going over all of this, man. Happy Chicken Day to everybody. It's not at all anything about chickens. I want to thank my friend Brian Shannon for coming in one more time. That was really awesome. Thank you for some of those picks. We'll watch out for Pan W, we'll watch out for Nvidia tomorrow, and we'll watch out for Nvidia. I just heard Ramin yawn, which means I have to get the heck out of here before I get clubbed over the head with something. Thank you to everybody. I'm coming home. Good luck to everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao.